Oh Hey 2-month streak. 3.
Guys, gals, non-binary pals, my name is Abigail Beck. Welcome back to the Rogue Room with Abigail Beck. Because that's who I am. I probably shouldn't have said my name first. Sup? How's it hanging? It's been a minute. Yes, I'm wearing a Pusheen top. I found this and I needed to own it. So I now own it.
Thank you for continuing
Pusheen!
the membership. Pusheen.
This is now a Pusheen stream. Carolyn, thank you for the sub. Draco, thank you for the sub. And, is it red? It's supposed to be brown, but I think I just put it on my bottom lip and then rubbed it on my top lip. And also Mavrekt, who subscribed yesterday while I wasn't live. So, Poggers me. Thank you very kindly for the offline sub. Yes, this is my second bit. I think second or third bit of Pusheen merch. I'm in love with this stupid cat. It's great. it's the cutest. It's fucking adorable and it's so comfy. I'm autisticing right now. Anyway, I'm squeeing over it. All right, let's talk. Let's chat. Let's do some things because you might have noticed, and I'm just gonna drag my own stats up right now so I can absolutely deride myself. I've been a bad streamer. I've been a really bad streamer since about May 14th. So basically the latter half of May and last week, I've been a bad streamer. I haven't been on my consistent 5-day-a-week schedule. I've been atrocious at this. And we're fixing that starting tonight. I'm getting back into 5-day-a-week. So every day, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. And believe me, I have been considering starting even earlier on Monday through Wednesday at least. Get some more stream time in. And maybe a little bit more gaming. Maybe. I'll think about it. Not set in stone. But I do want to finish Tell Me Why. And I do want to finish Fallout New Vegas. And please forgive me. I'm reconsidering Minecraft. Not hugely. Keep in mind I am still a Discourse streamer. This is what I like doing. I like doing this shit. Base streamer? Yeah, I'll be a based streamer. Happy Abby's adorable. Thank you. Cute Pusheen dub on a cute Abby. I'm just going to read all the compliments. That's all I want. Just compliments. And it's actually legitimately a hoodie. I have an actual hoodie now. I've got some hooded jackets, but now I've got a legit proper hoodie. Check me out, bruh. Anyways, I did my full face of makeup tonight. I almost didn't, honestly. And I got these cute earrings on. These are cute. I need more earrings. Hey! I wasn't done with that. Anyway. Handle change. Well, I mean, I've had it changed for a couple of weeks now. But yeah. Face and poggers. Ket. Yes, we have the Pusheen. What does it say again? So lazy, can't move plushie. Because that's how I feel. And let me tell you why I feel that way. Let me tell you why I relate to this so heavily. I hit legs like a truck today. Okay? I did that. And yes, I am twitch.tv/Abigail Beck these days. Which is what we're sticking with. We're not changing it anymore. Capitalism, look, I will give money to the Pusheen Corporation. Okay? That's what it's actually called. It's the Pusheen Corp. Makes the Pusheen merch. It's Pusheen Corp. For the record. No, okay. So I didn't get hit by a truck, but today I decided let's go as hard as we can on squats. So I did. Went as hard as I could on squats, which at 2 occasions I got 65 kilos for 5 reps. The rest of the sets were hovering around like 4 or 3 or 2, I think, ish. So 65 kilos is kind of my heaviest at the moment. I'm gonna try soon for a 1 rep max if I can. Hopefully up around 80. I'll try. I'm trying to break my own records here. Well, my own record is like 100 kilos on squats, which I cannot do at the moment. I'm piss weak. But then after that, I went and I did everything else that I do with my legs. All my accessory exercises. And I gradually increased the weight every single set that I was doing of whatever it is that I was doing. And I went really ham on calves especially. And as I'm running around today doing deliveries, my calves every step fucking aches. So I'm very happy to just sit here and not move for a bit. Because my calves are dying. But which is the sign of a good it's a sign of a good workout if you're actually feeling it, you know? If you have that response of like, okay, it shouldn't be in pain. There is soreness, but you shouldn't be feeling pain from a workout. For the record, there's a difference. Hello, Haley. How you doing? But yeah, I didn't get hit by a truck, thankfully. Thankfully. Goodness me. Glad I didn't. Alright, I'm going to stop looking at my my analytics now. I already did that. On the subject, though. I look after my body and don't just complain that I don't have an ass. I mean, I do. It's just not as big as I'd like it to be. If I could take good butt photos in the gym to show on social media, I would. Because, you know, some of the angles in the gym, when I'm looking at my own cheeks, I'm like, I wish I could snap a pic right now, but I'd look really fucking weird amid all these other people working out and not taking photos of themselves. I'm that person. Anyways. Dilate. What is that? What is that username? Anyway, whatever. Oh, I just noticed it in chat. Yeah, we don't have follow alerts anymore. Oh, well, who cares? Madhab, how's it going? Errol, what's going on? Please have mercy, my sapphic ass can only handle so much. If you can sit, that means you have an ass. True. But do you have thick, strong glutes? Do you have thick, strong glutes? Let's see. Here we go. Can I impress you with this? Can I flex my biceps in this and have them show? Oh, I think so. My arms are big enough that you can see the bicep curve. Is that impressive? That seems impressive, honestly. That impresses me. Look at that. But, like, why are the shoulders so big? It's an XL. I got an XL, so it was a bit slouchy, and I think all it's done is given me the effect of having shoulder pads. Which I'm not against, I suppose. I do have big shoulders. Anyway, bones are resting on the seats. I'm going to say I don't have an ass. Rip. Oh, goodness me, though. Oh. I could just do fitness chat all night. I could. Should check if they actually padded them. No, they haven't. There's nothing. I mean, it's got that kind of seam there, which kind of bunches up. You know? So it does that thing. So it does it itself. Anyway. Speaking of goals, let's talk about goals. Let's talk goals. I have a few goals. A few goals relating to various things. And I thought we could discuss both mine and yours and what have you. In particular, my main goal with regards to the fitness thing is weight loss. Right? At the moment, I'm focusing weight loss while also simultaneously trying to maintain what muscle I do have. So trying to break squatting records while also trying to get my weight down, because I'm up at 76 and I don't like that. I want to be back down at 70, so I've set my goal for 70 for the time being. And fingers crossed I can get that weight down to like 75 next week. It's at 76.5 now. I want to get it back down by at least 1.5 kilos. I've gained way too much, which is not what I wanted. Because I've had like a period recently where I've just been eating a lot, just coping with a bunch of stressful shit at the moment. And I unfortunately have a habit of just eating to excess when I'm going through a stressful period. I completely... You know, I give myself this idea. Hello, Mrs. L. How you going? Goal is 149. Yours is 250 again. Do you mean like your weight, or... You know, would I ever do a YouTube video of a workout routine just for shits and giggles? I've thought about doing it. I was going to do that with the sports video a couple of months ago. And what ended up happening is, like, ended up being lazy. And I didn't add the workout segment. Really need to add your pronouns to the pronouns. Yeah, I probably should. Hey, while I've got some of the inconsolables in here, Winnie is going to have me on again to ramble about capitalism. That's a good idea. Yeah, we've got the pronouns extension, but if you type !rogue, which I should change to !Abby. Let me do that really quickly. And then we'll come back to the goals chat, because that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about goals and things. Here we go. I'm changing that command to Abby, so if you type !Rogue in chat, it's not going to work anymore. Type !Abby if you want to know a little bit about me. Fuck exercise. I mean, I can understand that too. Try not to set a specific goal for weight. Feel like that's not the healthiest thing for you personally to do. Would like to lose a little bit of weight and then immediately regain it via growing bosoms. True. I would like that. But yeah, I think I've just definitely gained too much over the past couple of weeks or so, and it's really hit me mentally. So I just want to chill that out a bit. Came from Facebook. How are you, Evie? I do like Dark Souls. Honestly, it's difficult to say which one is my favorite. Because Dark Souls 1 is the one that got me into the series, and I really have a great nostalgic love for it. But I think Bloodborne is probably... I mean, I know that's not technically a Souls game, but I think Bloodborne is probably my favorite of the series. Even though I do love Sekiro as well, but that's, again, more detached from Souls. You and the rest of the world too? Yeah, I think so. Do I get periods? Yes, technically. I've certainly noticed certain points in the month where I'm just like, I'm dealing with a few symptoms of things. It's not that intense, but there's certainly points in the month where I'm just like, I feel really blah, crampy, drained, moody, more than usual. So the estrogen is giving me that in a certain way. It's complicated for trans folks. Currently playing Sekiro, trying to grind level so you can do the hardest ending. Ooh. I've got to do that. I've only done the base run, and I skipped the Demon of Hatred, I think. So, Do I drink soy milk? No, I drink... I probably shouldn't drink cow's milk. I should probably switch to, almond milk or something. I've been considering switching to almond milk because it's quite nice. But oat milk fucking sucks, for the record. I've tried a few different ones. Actually, on the tail end of it right now. Oof. Oh, it's not good. So yeah, my main fitness goal for the future is to get my weight back down to at least below 75, maybe down to 70 over the next few weeks, because I've put on more weight than I anticipated. I want to get back that leanness that I had before. I've put on a little bit of flab. Yeah, I know. Body image issues. I have a lot of those, for the record. I realize that health and body image and all those kinds of things are not directly tied. It's all just a bunch of bullshit we're sold to make us buy things that are supposed to help us maintain a certain body image, what have you. But I can't help it, Kiara, enjoy that lurk. Go and enjoy doing things. I hope you enjoy doing things. But I also have a few other goals. I wanted to be open about these kinds of things because I think it's important to be open about these kinds of things. And we've recently had pretty good progress here on the stream with regards to viewership in general. You've all been hanging out and being a really cool bunch of people that I like talking to. And, Twitch Partner is sort of on the horizon, I think. I don't think I'm going to get there this year. Like I said, why is this showing me stats for now? I don't want this stream. I want, the last week or so. The last 7 days. No. The last 7 days. Dickhead. So the last 7 days, just June 1 to today, has been an average of about 75. Now, I don't think that's really an honest estimation of my viewership, because we did have 2 really good streams this past week where the viewership was really high, and one of those was a charity stream. So we got a bunch of big raids, and I think that definitely inflates those stats a bit. But I'd like to keep this momentum going if we can somehow. I don't know how you do this kind of thing. I don't know. Honestly, if somebody would have asked me today how I've managed to pull this kind of viewership that I have right now, I'd be like, good question. I guess that... your guess is as good as mine. I don't know. So what happened with this catfish thing? Crazy shit with the soy milk turned a male, catfish female. That sounds like the thing that we discussed recently about... also, somebody mentioned Pride emotes. I'm interested in Pride emotes. Are there new Pride emotes this month? Thank you, Mrs. L, by the way. Did you know the thing a while back? We watched Justin Wang's video breaking this down, but do you remember Alex Jones's rant about the turning the frogs gay? Whatever it was, turning the frogs gay. Something in the water is turning the frogs gay. In Justin Wang's video that covered that topic, he discussed how somebody was dumping estradiol in the water, and it wasn't turning the frogs gay, it was turning them trans. Essentially, male frogs were ingesting lots of estradiol, and it was changing their... what's the word? I guess their physiology. Enough that they were turning female. effectively. I'm just going to make sure I've got my little lighting app set up in case we need to change the lights. Like if I wanted to do this, for example. So you can see my room in all its glory. Look, you can see my stuff. Also, I finally put batteries in my little light box. That's supposed to have, it's supposed to have a sign on it so you can read it. And the lights are too bright. You can't see the letters on the fucking thing now. I quit with this fucking thing. It was $5. Who cares? Anyway, I'll throw it out eventually and get a sign that says... It says the Rogue Room. You're supposed to see the Rogue Room on it. Is that a mimic? It is a little mimic. Yes, it is. The notorious FROG. But however, on the subject of mimics... Let me find something. Just... Stop. I'll show you the mimic in a second. It's got a name. I forget what the name is. Well, I think we called it Bing Bong. But while that one's cool and cute and all that, it's a D&D mimic. First for Figures has this one. It has this one, which is, where the hell is the price? It's a lot of dollars. It ends up being about $900. And I absolutely need it. Far more than I would ever need a PS5. Fuck that shit. I want a Mimic statue. That's a Mimic from Dark Souls. And they're available now. And they have a payment plan. I'm just putting that out there. It is many dollars. But it would become the staple of my backdrop. If I were to get it. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Necromancer 3272. How you going? Fun fact, frogs are free if you don't get caught taking them. Alright, so. But that is a many payment plan. Hey, come back. This is our Mimic. I saw him in a game shop and I was like, there we go. I saw him in a game shop, in like you know how there's EB Games or GameStop, and they've now got this attached ThinkGeek slash, what's it called? Zing in Australia. That's where I got this from. It's very cute. It just does its thing. If you want it to be life-size, it'd be thousands. Are the throughway only person... What? Can you phrase that in English? Are questioned the throughway only person for a long time and you seem like the right person to ask. Beg pardon? You'd cuddle a frog if you had the chance. EV Tarot, by the way, welcome to the Rogue Room. Hope you're doing well. If I'm willing to get a professional succubus mask for streaming, I can't judge you for wanting the Mimic figurine. The mask is probably cheaper. Permission beforehand. Don't know how you feel about that sort of topic. Well, I don't know what the topic is. Kettle Magic, welcome to the Rogue Room. You need to clarify what the topic is. Anyways, should we do a news? If it's the goddamn trans people in sports thing. I'm writing a new video right now. I'm writing... Oh, mummy milkers. Hang on. Hold on, I think... How do we feel about mummy milkers? Just hang on. Just hang on.
Certainly.
Yes. That's the only thing that I've got on Botwick's soundboard.
Affirmative.
Or that one. That's even close to like, yes, of course. Yeah. Oh, the mask is like 900 AUD. Okay, so about equivalent then. I want a pair of mummy milkers. I fit like maybe a humble B cup. But anyway, neither here nor there. You link the mask in the server and I'll see why it costs so much. Alright, sounds good. Major left turn from where I thought it was going. Wee. Anyway, I want this stupid Mimic statue. Not specifically breastfeeding breasts, no, just big titties. Which, I mean, you know, I've seen women, trans and cis, who refer to their specifically big silicone tits as mommy milkers. I'm like, is that even possible at that point? I don't know. All boobs are valid regardless of size. Yes, they are. We do like the tid. We do like the tid. Have some of yours. I've had so many friends say that to me recently. I was hanging out with my friends over the weekend. My friend just turned 30. Went and had some drinks. It was fucking pog. It was awesome. I think there are photos. There are photos of me out in public socializing, if you can believe it. I'll try to find them. And it was a good time. It was good vibes. But both of my friends, it was my best friend and her girlfriend was the one having the 30th. Her girlfriend's 30. And both of them, at some point across the weekend, said words to the effect of, "You can have some of mine." I'm sick of these things. I'm like, please, I would like them now. I would like the breasts. Just have to be quality. Had a reduction from E to C and now back to E. Oh my goodness. Oh, what happened? What happened, Lictar? Let me have a look. What have I missed? Depressed for a week when your frog died. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's awful. Hang on, what have I missed? There's more in chat. It's going so fast. I'm trying to keep up with you all. Penelope Black Diamond managed to produce breast milk. Don't Google this on stream or at work. I'll keep that in mind. I will keep that in mind. As a fat guy, you can have mine. I don't fucking want these things. That reminds me of what James Stephanie Sterling said. They had a head start on the breasts, you know. Anyway. And now they've lost a ton of weight since they've transitioned, interestingly. They've started taking care of their diet and such. Drop the video of the mask in assorted media. Let's have a look. Let's have a gander. And then we'll read some news, because... Okay, here we go. This is the mask you want to get for streaming. Is it safe for work? Hang on, let me scroll through here. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, we'll have a look at this. We'll have a look at this. Damona, female fit silicone mask. Like, I don't think we need audio. But like, look at this thing. Holy shit. I just like skimmed through the timeline. So that would be like a full face situation and you would have to put makeup on around the eyes and stuff. That's so extreme. It'd be awesome though. Can you imagine wearing that on stream every day? There are a few streamers I've noticed who are orcs. I'm just going to throw that out. There are a few streamers out there who are orcs. I can't think of them at the moment. But literally, just the green skin, the tusks, the whole shebang. And it's fucking cool. I love it. It's like, yes. That's why it costs $900. You just would love to go 100% RP with streaming. That'd be cool. I want to get elf ears. I know it's really cheesy and stereotypical, but I want elf ears. Not so much because of the elven thing, but do I need to remind you all that this is a Striga standing stream. So we're aware. On this stream, we stand Striga. And that's why I want the elf ears. And like a grey lip. I want a grey lipstick and I want to do something with my eyebrows and I want her hair. Which is just... I want to be her. Okay? I would like to be her. Thank you. Just all of it. Everything. I want the Raven's head shoulder pad. I just want to be her. Day armor for days. Oh god. If you've not watched Castlevania, first of all, start doing that. And once you get to season 4 and you get to the day armor scene, fuck. Just fuck. I can't. That's a spoiler in its own way. It is. Just hit the fuck button. Do I have a fuck button?
Negative.
We don't. Fuck who though? Striga can fuck me. Castlevania. I think they're called Metroidvanias. Is Castlevania a Souls-like? The Berserker, yeah. It's a huge fucking Berserk reference. Anyway, Actually expect to get new followers for foul language like that?
Affirmative.
Anodyne, welcome to the road group. And also, let's see here. Castlevania can't be a Souls-like. Castlevania is good. I'm warning you, I will slap you.
Fuck.
Alright, give me a sec. Let's do this. Okay, hang on. Let's go ahead and do the soundboard. Where's the soundboard? Actually, I don't think it's in here. I think it's in a different folder. I've got a folder for my soundboard. And I think... No, that's not it. It's not in there. Okay. Give me... We can do this. I can do this. Don't... Just wait. I will find it. That's not... That's the alerts. Where is... What the hell? Where is his soundboard? You know what? I'm gonna... Not his. Botwick is a they. That's not it. What the hell? I can't find the folder where the sounds are kept. Soundboard is Pandora's box. Now that you've made me think of more sound effects. I'm gonna have to put this in another folder or something. I don't know where it's gone. I had a folder for Botwick's soundboard and I can't find the bastard now. Anyway. So there's a good chance it's just a bullshit story then. Well, that's pretty disappointing. Phytoestrogens don't have the same effect as estrogen with animals. Oh, I see. It's a Souls like if you're a certain guy being led around by a red-headed mummy-dom vampire. Anyways. Put in, that ain't it, chief. Oh, I should. Botwick needs this kind of stuff. But, like, if you look at what I'm doing here, let me show you. So this is my soundboard, really quickly. This is what my soundboard looks like. This one. Oh, that's the wrong one. This one. And I go into one of these files and I'm clicking on this and it's bringing up a different folder and I don't know which folder it is that has the sound effects in it. So I can't figure out where to put the sound file so it can go with the rest of them. No idea how slightly annoyed I am. I am very slightly annoyed by this. I thought it was in the... I've got a folder called Pixel Art Rebrand. But that's not it. Which has got all of the Botwick sound effects for the alerts. I've got a soundboard folder in my... not that one. In my streaming folder. But it's not in there either. So... I don't know where it is. Also, I've got a bunch of old sound effects from when I was not Abigail Beck. Some of them, which are certainly DMCA right now. Pandora's Jug. FFX chat, by the way, welcome to the Rogue Room. Sorry, I'm distracted. I shouldn't be so distracted. I should, in fact, be doing the content that you're all here for. That I assume you subscribe for. We've been half an hour and we haven't touched a single news story. We've got some stuff, though. Trust me. We'll get into the serious. What's the DMCA ones? Typically, like sound bites from songs or something like that. So I just avoid those now. I deleted them. Where the hell would they be? It's not in the content creation folder. I can't believe it's just missing. Is it in this one? Here we go. I found it. It's alright. I'm going to need to move these. But, here we go. Alright, we can add a new button which just says, give me the folder. No. You're not doing that to me. I really need to reorganize. Too vulnerable to interact responsibly at the moment, but you support in kindred spirit. Well, I appreciate that.
Fuck.
Botwick, Jesus. Asshole. Why are you so rude sometimes, man? I suppose I shouldn't call them man. What's a gender neutral term we can use?
Fuck.
I mean, that applies, I suppose. What's a gender neutral term that's kind of like man, dude, chick?
Fuck.
What's up, fuck? What's up, you fuck? That works.
Thank you kindly.
There you go. Looking for songs to play. NCS got live streams you can play in the background. Well, true. Comrade, friend, pal. I could do cunt. What is this one?
I'm sorry. That's not in my programming.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry to inconvenience you, Botwick. Butthead, hello chat. How you doing, Megami? So I thought they were going to say thank you, cunt. We're just gonna fuck around with text-to-speech and adding new things to Botwick.
Thanks, cunt.
Hang on.
Thank you, cunt.
Okay, that's a good one. Alright. That's Matthew McConaughey things. What did I just press? Always open files at this time. I didn't want. Can someone say cunt in chat? I think you can. You should be able to. If I am not mistaken, you should be able to. Star Wars Bodwick. Hello there, boys. This is quality content. This is what... I mean, why have I not been doing this whole time? This is the best content. Not... I can't... okay, whatever. Cool. I've just undone the fuck button by pasting over it. There we go. I fixed it now. Alright, let's pick this one. There we go.
Thank you, cunt.
Can we have redeems? We could. We could. What would we have? What would you want? What? Let's take some votes here. Take some suggestions. I don't want to add too many commands for Botwick, but you know, what can we add? What can we add in there? Welcome to the Rogue Room, Lucis. How you going?
I sincerely apologize.
What are you apologizing for?
Fuck.
Oh, that. What's going on, Echo? How's it hanging? We're fucking around with a soundboard at the moment.
Perhaps you are just not that good at this game.
It's not a game. I'm not playing a game. We're just messing around.
Congratulations. A masterful victory.
The bot's being sarcastic with me now. Madam Scoville. There you go. Can I, like, see something? Hang on. Look, now you can see the text on the light box. Look, now you can see the text. Alright, let's stop fucking around for a minute. Let's do some news. Let's do a news story. And we're going to start off with this one, which I tweeted about earlier, because I'm always fucking worried about healthcare, and now this is like a stepping stone to greater, i.e. more terrible things. Government in danger of history repeating with Medicare rebate changes. Type exclamation mark ring bill if you would like to, because there is a command that will take you to the page where I got this very ring. It's pretty cool. And there are more of them. Just weeks before the biggest changes to Medicare in decades, the federal government and private health sector are grappling with a huge number of changes that have only just been released, leading to the potential for chaos for patients. Excuse me. Thank you, Phage. More than 900 Medicare benefits schedule items for rebates for private surgery are set to change on the 1st of July as part of the MBS review of all 5,700 Medicare rebates. Hello, Festa. How you doing? The latest changes... Excuse me. Mookow, how you going? The latest changes will affect rebates for orthopedic surgery, general surgery, and heart surgery. The AMA is concerned that the private healthcare sector, including health funds, hospitals, doctors, and patients, will not be ready for the 1st of July changes due to poor implementation by the government, AMA President Dr. Omar Khorshid said today. Now I'm sniffling. Why am I doing this? Okay. Less than 1 month out from the implementation of these changes, and we still do not have all the information we need to assess and change over our schedules and payment processes to reflect the changes. We had enough problems in November 2018 when the first tranche... What is that word? What does that even mean? A portion of something. Never seen that word before. I'm not going to stop doing coke. That's how I do these streams. Anyway, of MBS review changes results in private health insurers, though, through no fault of their own, not having their schedules updated in time. That meant that no-gap arrangements were not possible or were significantly delayed, leading to uncertainty for doctor and patient alike. Patients were left out of pocket, spinal surgeries were delayed, and doctors couldn't provide patients with informed financial consent about potential gap fees. Those changes involve replacing 70 spinal surgery items with 60 new items. The 1st of July changes involve expected changes to 594 orthopedic surgery items, 150 general surgery items, and 188 cardiac surgery items. After the spinal surgery debacle, the AMA and private health sector told the Department of Health that 6 months lead time is needed ahead of MBS changes. More than 2 years later, we are facing the same problems, but with more than tenfold the volume and complexity. This will put significant financial and operational risk on health insurers and private hospitals, and leaves doctors and patients scrambling and confused about what and how to bill against Medicare and private health insurance policies come the 1st of July. We simply don't know what the rebates from funds will be, as they haven't had time to prepare and release them in advance, including for surgeries already booked for the next month. The AMA and other medical groups have worked in good faith with the government and the MBS Review Task Force since 2015 to ensure that Medicare provides value to patients and taxpayers, and that it continues to be sustainable. We have repeatedly reached out to government and Department of Health to communicate the needs of the sector to ensure a smooth transition of the MBS changes. I'm still sniffling. Somebody stop me. I'm always worried about this healthcare stuff, so I want to read about it so I know what the hell's going on. I'm always worried that, we're going to slowly shift here in Australia to an American healthcare system, and changes that are this significant and damaging to the private healthcare sector can bleed over into the public healthcare sector in a big way. So, which this could be, honestly, this kind of thing happening under a Liberal government could be a very big point of political, what's the term I'm looking for? Labor could capitalize on this in a big way by, suggesting to voters that Liberal is trying to strip away their healthcare rights and their Medicare rights and things of that nature. And I don't doubt Anthony Albanese is certainly going to make commentary on this if he hasn't already. So anyway, moving along. Giving the sector just weeks instead of months to change over its entire system to support almost 1,000 changes leaves the health system and patients at risk. The government's reminded doctors to consider patients' circumstances when charging fees misses the point. At the moment, there's no way for doctors to know if they're charging a gap due to the chaos caused by the department's poor implementation, which is entirely the point. Make things incredibly difficult for the medical system, so people are, intentionally out of pocket. The AMA is calling on the government to urgently commit to changing the process going forward to avoid past problems and to ensure that this massive change to MBS rebates occurs without disruption to patient care. We are also calling on the government and private health insurers to safeguard patient private health insurance rebates to ensure that they are not worse off financially for undergoing orthopedic, general, or cardiac surgery after the 1st of July due to implementation issues with the MBS. Pity ALP is 2 right now. What do you mean ALP is 2? Don't tell me they're just as bad. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. The two-party system here in Australia, it's not explicitly a two-party system per se, but it certainly feels that way. Just because there are more than 2 parties in Australia doesn't mean it's likely that anybody other than the Liberals or the Labor is going to get in. And that's by design, of course. But I do believe, Albanese and co will certainly use this kind of thing to say to constituents, the current Liberal government is trying to destroy your healthcare system, destroy Medicare, which, if they continue to fuck up the healthcare system, a lot of lives are going to be lost, of course. It's a good thing they're starting massively vital surgeries first. Oh yeah, great choice there, guys. Good job. I'm officially out of hot chocolate. There's nothing left but a gloopy chocolate gel at the bottom. I'm trying to Nyam. It's very bleh. Very thick, very rich. Maybe don't try to get the hot chocolate gel at the bottom. Ugh. Anyway, can it just be 2022 already? I think, 2022 is the next federal election. If I am not mistaken, should be held in or before 2022 to elect members of the 47th Parliament of Australia. All 151 seats in the House of Representatives and 40 of the 76 seats in the Senate will be up for election. Simple English Wikipedia. What is this? Okay. The incumbent coalition government led by Scott Morrison will be seeking a 4th 3-year term against the opposition Labor Party led by Anthony Albanese. So yeah, there we have it. On or before, here we go, 21st of May 2022. On or before so we got the half Senate is on or before the 21st of May, on or before the 3rd of September is the House of Representatives. There we go. That's what we're looking at. Have they really been in for 3 terms? Fucking Christ. Gough Whitlam would be hunting down the pricks right now. I would hope so. But yeah, if you're in Australia, I mean, vote Greens ideally, but at least put Labour as second and put Liberal as sixth or whatever the thing is. 2013 was a dark year. It was. It certainly was. And things have shifted dramatically. You wouldn't vote Greens? You wouldn't? Okay. Might have to look more into what Greens gets up to, honestly. Ah, they helped the LNP, okay. But Flowen heads to ALP, I see. That's not bloody good, is it? It feels like no matter what, this is where nihilism comes into things. You know? Seems like no matter what we do, we're really just putting, at best, voting for a lesser of evils. You know, there's no one there that actually considers the people. It's not a great system, democracy. It doesn't work. I'm now going in favor of full authoritarianism. For some reason. Or just anarchy. Can we just have an anarchy system? Errol, welcome to the workroom. It's just a case of voting for bigger cages or longer chains, pretty much. Textbook South Park, the choice between a turd sandwich and a giant douche. Effectively. Yeah, I thought you were following too. I think Twitch is bugging out with follows lately. I've seen a few people refollow for whatever reason. Super weird that it keeps doing that. I don't know why. I haven't played an ad yet. Fucking hell. Alright, I'm going to play an ad now. Sorry to be a pain. Direct democracy. What's direct democracy when you refer to it there? When you're using that terminology, what do you mean, Phage? Because I'm curious. Okay, so pre-roll ads should be disabled for the next 32 minutes. Fingers crossed that actually stays that way and people don't get ads for the next 32 minutes. But we'll see how we go. Yeah, when you say direct democracy, like, what does Google tell me what direct democracy is? Oh, here, yeah, this is what I've been advocating for ages. Direct democracy or pure democracy is a form of democracy in which... I'd like to stop saying democracy. In which people decide on policy initiatives directly. This is what I've been advocating for ages. Is there another name for this? This differs from the majority of currently established democracies, which are representative. The theory and practice of direct democracy and participation as its common characteristic was the core of work of many theorists, philosophers, politicians, and social critics, among whom the most important is Jean-Jacques Rousseau, John Stuart Mill, and G.D.H. Cole. I might have to look at these works of policy and theory. There's an idea. Yeah, vote for the policy, not the person. That's what I wanted. That's what I would like. In a representative democracy, people vote for representatives who then enact policy initiatives. I'm just reading off Wikipedia for the record. In direct democracy, not police. People, I mean, arguably police are people in some tangential way. People decide on policies without any intermediary. Depending on the particular system in use, direct democracy might entail passing executive decisions, the use of sortition, making laws, directly electing or dismissing officials, and conducting trials. Two leading forms of direct democracy are participatory democracy and deliberative democracy. Semi-direct democracies, in which representatives administer day-to-day governance but the citizens remain the sovereign, allow for three forms of popular action: referendum, plebiscites, initiatives, and recalls. The first two forms, referendums and initiatives, are examples of direct legislation. As of 2019, 30 countries allowed for referendums influenced by the population on the national level. Police are people in their own way, but so are serial killers. Anyway, and some days I can't tell the difference. I think it could work a lot better in the online age. I mean, I would think so. You would think so. The problem is, like, if you... There's a good video of 40%. There's a good video. That number has got some dark associations with it in numerous different ways. It's a multi-layered reference. There's a good video by what's his name? Tom Scott, I think. Let's watch this. Okay, let's pause for a sec. I think we can get away with watching Tom Scott. Hey, stop. Shut the fuck up. Stop. I'm not ready for you yet. You will talk when I tell you to talk. Alright.
Made a video 5 years ago.
Okay, that's really loud and screechy. What the hell? That's not what I was intending on.
video for a channel called Computer File about why electronic voting is a bad idea. And I still get emails occasionally asking things.
I think I've watched this one. Yeah, that was deafening. That wasn't what I was going for. You will talk when I tell you to talk. Yes, ma'am. Not everyone has internet access, though, so it'd need to be treated as a necessity. This is why, honestly, and maybe Tom will talk about this, I don't know. This is why internet access needs to be a utility that is provided to everyone.
Things must have changed by now, right? There's this new idea, and maybe it'll help. Surely electronic voting is just around the corner. No, it's really
from 2019,
not.
by the way.
Here is why electronic voting is still a bad idea.
But of course, the points he's going to make in this are fairly relevant, I would imagine.
Elections have some very unusual requirements. There are two key features that are almost opposed to each other: anonymity and trust. So first, your vote should be completely anonymous. There should be
Subscribe if you like watching me watching other content from better creators.
no way that anyone can find out who you voted for, even after everything's been counted. That way, no one can bribe you or threaten you to vote a particular way. In the UK, if you mark your ballot in a way that could potentially identify you, so if you sign it, for example, then that ballot is not counted. This is why election officials are worried about people taking selfies with their ballots, because you should not be able to prove how you voted afterwards. Otherwise, you can have a tax
DMCA
like
strikes and hot
$10
takes.
off for blue voters, or entry to this party only for yellow voters, or vote red or you'll
already
regret
sub,
it.
well then give someone else.
Votes have to be anonymous. The second requirement is
Can
absolute
we get a hype train for Tom Scott?
transparent trust. The system needs to make sure that your vote is securely and accurately counted, sure, but it also needs to be obvious to everyone, no matter their technical knowledge, that the system can be trusted. So if you're using paper, you place your ballot in a sealed box that doesn't get unsealed until everyone with a stake in the election has someone representing them in the room. There should always be people from more than one side guarding it, or at the very least, witnessing that there's a tamper-proof seal being used for transport. Voters need to be able to trust that their vote will be counted, even though they'll never see it again and it can't be traced back to them. And at no point is a single person put in a position of trust. People can be corrupt or threatened or incompetent or all three at the same time. Now, physical voting is not perfect. It can be attacked. It has been attacked. The UK's own paper system doesn't fulfil both of those requirements perfectly. It is possible to identify voters from their ballots if a court orders it. And there are stories about that being done outside the law too. But the key point is not that paper voting is perfect. It isn't. But attacks against it don't scale well. Physical voting is centuries old, and in that time, almost every conceivable fraud on the system has been tried, and defences have been found. The more physical votes you need to change, the more people you need to influence, the more time and money it takes, and the less likely it is that your little conspiracy will stay secret.
This is why, I mean, and I'm just going to throw this out, this is probably why Republicans in the United States right now are doing everything in their power to enact laws that effectively influence voter suppression, things like gerrymandering and the like. I'm trying to think of the specifics, but there seems to be a number of Republicans in the US who are doing everything they possibly can to enact voter suppression laws because there are certain constituents they don't want voting and they want to make it as difficult as they can for them to vote. Effectively, you know, gaming the system, cheating the system, because they know they can't legitimately win. They know there are, or the Tories as well, yeah. And invariably, the Liberal Party here in Australia would be doing the same kind of thing. They want to make it more complicated and more difficult for people who are, you know, if there's a lot of people who are going to be voting against them, they want to make sure that those people cannot vote. You know, they have statistics on certain areas. And, you know, the voting, what's the voting statistics of those areas? Like what areas favor which politicians, which favor which political parties. And they'll make it more difficult for people in those areas to vote, to, you know, restrict the system. That's a very complicated poll, and it's not going to fit in the poll box.
In the UK election, there are hundreds of polling stations across the country, with staff made up of scores of employees and thousands of volunteers. The job of changing a significant number of votes, enough to sway an election, becomes very, very difficult. People have attempted it. Some people have been convicted. A few have probably gotten away with it on some scale. Granny farming.
Yes, voting in some places you're not allowed to have a water bottle, which is, again, another voter suppression tactic. If you're going to be... And this is the thing, like, certain areas, specifically in the US is what I'm thinking of right now, certain areas, people have to go out of their way, sometimes hours out of their way to reach a polling place, right? And, yeah, they've enacted things like you're not allowed to have a water bottle if you're standing in line. What reason do they have for enacting that other than to suppress the voters by making it so that they can't hydrate themselves while they're standing in line for hours at a time? You're gonna get thirsty, especially if you're outside in the sun or whatever. You're gonna want to hydrate, but you're not allowed to have a water bottle if you're standing in line, which is going to dissuade people from standing in line in the first place. They're gonna be like, oh, well, fuck this shit, I'm gonna leave. Thus, technically you're not influencing the vote directly in a corrupt way. You're just making it so that the voters don't want to vote, or it makes it incredibly inconvenient for them to vote. And they make it illegal to hand out food and drink to people in a line, which, yeah. And, of course, like I mentioned, the people have to travel far more than they usually would. I just have to go to a local public school, when I have to vote. But there are other areas in the world where, yeah, there's only one polling place and it's only in one specific situation and it's only open from like 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And, you have to travel, you have to get up at 6 a.m. to get in the car to travel down there, to get there at 8 a.m. to get an early spot in line. You're going to be spending your entire day just to cast your single ballot. They do this shit on purpose. But that's not even really what we're talking about. We're talking about electronic voting, which would be, if it worked, a very convenient system. We're going to find out exactly why, but yeah. Thank you, Draco. Not voting gets you poked. Voting gets you not poked. I mean, I'm always going to vote. I'm always going to go Democratic. Anyway, maybe never being able to vote, or you have to vote every 6 months. More stringent voter ID laws making it difficult/impossible for trans people to vote. In South Africa, voting day is declared a public holiday, which it should be. There are many, there's, in the US especially, I think what they do here in Australia is they do voting on a day that's already a public holiday, or something like that, or they make it on a weekend, or like a Sunday, or something like that, or they do it on a public holiday that already exists. How have I been? I've been fine. I've been good. How have you been? Actually, had them refuse to count your vote before because Medicare has your preferred name, but the AEC doesn't. Ooh, I need to update that. It's a Saturday. There we go. Voting is mandatory. You can get fined for not voting in Australia, yes.
Is the term that shady operatives use.
Let's go back a second.
Very difficult. People have attempted it. Some people have been convicted. A few have probably gotten away with it on some scale. Granny farming is the term that shady operatives use for going round all the retirement homes and getting vulnerable elderly people to sign a proxy vote, a paper saying that someone else can vote on their behalf. And yeah, on a small scale, that has worked. But once you start scaling up that attack, it becomes extremely difficult and time-consuming, and the chances are you're going to get found out. With electronic voting, that's not the case. So first, let's talk about electronic voting machines. That's where there's a computer at the polling station, so voters still go into a booth. It's just that they are pushing buttons or tapping things on a touchscreen, not writing on paper. Problem number one, trusting the software and the hardware. In theory, our voting computer could be running open source software where anyone can see and check the source code. In practice, that doesn't happen. It's probably going to be closed source. It's probably going to be loaded off an easily compromised USB stick on a computer that's been sitting unguarded and sometimes just idly and inexplicably connected to the internet for years. And those systems only ever get a full-scale test when an election actually takes place. That in itself should be enough to stop electronic voting ever being a thing. But okay, let's say that we do magically have the most stable, secure, open source software possible. How does a voter know and trust that that correct software is actually installed on the machine they're using? Maybe we could use some sort of checksum or some other system to make sure the voting software is running correctly, but then you're just moving the problem. Now you have to trust that that checksum hasn't been forged, and almost no voters will actually understand what that check even means or why they should trust it.
God damn it, why do you have such valid points about this shit? Yeah, it's mandatory in the sense that, yeah, if you have to vote, if you're on the electoral roll, but you can get off that. And they fine you, but it's, as far as I know, it's like the cost of a speeding ticket. It's like $100. So there are people who will literally just take the fine as opposed to going to vote. And the thing that's really stupid is, like, I don't know why you would I don't know why you would do that. $20 to start. Oh, there you go. It's not even that much. See Ken Thompson's self-referential C compiler or the paper Trusting Trust. There's an idea.
The United States, voting machines are regularly tested every year at the Voting Village at DEF CON, one of the world's largest hacker conventions. It's not an official thing. Hackers there have managed to alter the stored vote tallies, change the ballots displayed to voters, and in one case have got a machine to run the video game Doom.
Of course.
Imagine if instead of a machine there was just a person in the voting booth and you had to whisper your vote to them and they promised, oh yes, you can absolutely trust them to accurately record your vote and pass it on to the people who are doing the count. No, you can't see how or where they're writing it down. You can't actually call and find out where they are or what they're doing, but they absolutely promise. That's basically what's happening with an electronic voting machine. You just have something that says, trust me, I've counted your vote and I've absolutely not been compromised, honest. Problem number 2 is votes in transit. How do you get the votes off that machine to the central counting place? There are 3 possible ways. 1, you could take all the voting machines to the count. You could seal them all up and transport them physically from where the voting took place to where the counting takes place. No one does that. So you could download all the results from each machine onto a USB stick and take that. One bit of sleight of hand and you've got a completely different set of results. If you're about to propose some system where the results are checksummed and trusted, then please explain that to the average voter in a way they can understand and implicitly trust. Okay, so maybe we could transmit the votes electronically over the internet, which is optimistic. Man-in-the-middle attacks are more difficult now, but they're not impossible, particularly if you can't trust the software on either end. And now you are connecting the voting machines directly to the internet, deliberately. Which brings us to problem number 3, the central counting server. Right at the end of the process, there is the server that tallies the votes and gives the final count, which has all the same problems with trust and verification as the individual voting machines, but now only a few people can even see that computer. That's also true about electronic counting machines, ones that take stacks of paper ballots and return totals. How do you trust they aren't quietly changing some votes? We live in a world where Volkswagen got away with specifically designing their cars to cheat on emissions tests for years. And that's before we include...
I didn't know that. Good to know. If you make voting mandatory, then you can't have all the shit they do in the US to try to suppress the vote. Yeah, they can still do that. They can certainly still do all of that. And the thing is that will just become another measure of voter suppression. They will make it, like we mentioned before, they make it extremely difficult for certain constituents to vote. And then, if you add in the thing of you need to vote, it's mandatory to vote, but we're still going to make it hard for certain people to vote, then you get to charge those people money or potentially turn them into criminals, sentence them to prison time or what have you for not voting, right, if they can't afford the fine, which inevitably, we could tell the US would absolutely do that, If you're convicted on things, they remove you for X amount of years, yeah. So you could either vote, or you could lose your ability to vote. ISPs do the same thing when you run speed test. Yeah, exactly.
User error. In one Scottish election, trialling electronic voting, a result was corrected after one observer noticed it didn't make sense and stopped the announcement at the last minute. Turns out that someone forgot to scroll all the way to the right to read the columns on an Excel spreadsheet with the results in. And even if you can't compromise the election, you can still break trust. You can still cast doubt on a voting machine or the entire counting system just by leaving an unknown USB drive in it, taking a picture and posting it online, or just faking a photo of that. To break an electronic election, you don't actually need to break it. You just need to cast enough doubt on the result.
Well, they could certainly make the machine so there are no available USB ports. I think some of these points could be contradicted. But that said, a lot of the more important points are very, very valid. There's someone that did 3 years in jail, they were removed for 20 years, Jesus. They can still do gerrymandering, but you're talking about direct suppression, although that kind of counts as suppression too, yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if other manufacturers did it. Oh, they absolutely would. Say it with me, kids. Excel is not a data storage system. In a world of intelligent tech, you still can't always avoid that some of the users will be dumb as hell. Yeah, exactly.
A lot more difficult to do that with paper and physical ballot boxes. And all this is before we get to the really terrible idea that people should be able to use their phone or computer to vote from home. Now, I am sure that the device that you personally are watching this on is malware-free and up-to-date. Of course it is. But do you trust that for everyone in your family? For everyone on your street?
My phone up to date.
The exact numbers differ
malware-free.
depending on which security firm's figures you go with, but
Keep
it's safe to say
sending
that a
notifications.
huge number of
I'll throw you
computers
through a
are
window.
infected with some sort of malware. Huge numbers of phones are on old, vulnerable versions of their operating systems.
True.
And that's just scammers setting up botnets and minor extortions. Imagine the sort of attack that could be put together by a small, well-funded team backed by a national government.
It doesn't need to be a USB port for someone to fake it. True. Back from calling your system, we're watching Tom Scott. We like Tom. This is what a freeze frame. Jesus, what a freeze frame. I remember recently somebody posted something about him on Twitter. Oh, I remember somebody put together a list of like all these different political YouTubers, and for some reason Tom Scott was on there. And if you've watched his videos, he's like one of the least political guys on the platform. All he wants to do is educate people. He just teaches people shit. You know, he's not interested in leaning one way or the other politically. And somebody mentioned that I think this video is probably his most political video he's ever released, in the sense that it's talking about the political system. But yeah, I love Tom Scott. He's got such great videos. I need to watch more of them, honestly. He's so chill to watch. We could do a whole stream just watching his videos. But I don't want to get copyright struck. Honestly, I'll probably get struck for uploading this VOD later. Anywho, it's technically pro-democracy. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, that is political. Exactly, yeah.
That sort of attack would scale very, very well. Find the one hole in the system and suddenly it costs roughly the same to change one vote as it does to alter millions.
Oh, on the subject of political videos, who knows IBX Toycat, the Minecraft YouTuber? Recently we watched that video, sorry to keep interrupting, Tom. Recently we watched that video about colonialism in Minecraft by Folding Ideas, right? And a recommended video came up to me today, Toycat, discussing radical political viewpoints using villages in Minecraft. I think, I kind of want to run it by you folks and see what you think of it. We'll see how we go. Sean, welcome to the Rogue Room. How are you doing?
And your conspiracy stays very, very small indeed. Maybe you don't even have to set foot in the country whose elections you're hacking.
Minecraft discourse, yes,
Now,
indeed.
There are a couple of regular objections. I get to this. First of all, what about Estonia? Yes, in 2005, Estonia became the first country in the world to offer internet voting. First in local elections, then in national, then in European. In 2019, more than 40% of votes were cast online there, which is just short of 250,000 people. On the surface, the system seems robust. Voters can ID via their government-provided smart card or the SIM card on their phone. But there are problems. An independent report found gaps in the procedural and operational security. The architecture of the system is a decade old, and it's now dangerously out of date, and it's open to cyber attacks by foreign powers, either by exploiting individual phones or by breaking the trust in the server that counts the votes. The other common objection is, what about new technologies? What about blockchain? Look, leaving aside trying to explain blockchain to people and asking them to trust that this weird technology is worth using, it's basically just a write-only database. It doesn't solve the problem of trusting the software or hardware. It doesn't change how the voting machine works. The interface between the voter's intention and what's actually written to the database still has to work. If it prints a receipt of the vote that you can check later, well, it breaks anonymity. If it prints a receipt of seemingly random numbers that you can check later, it breaks trust because hardly anyone will understand what's actually going on there. I'm not saying there aren't advantages to electronic voting. Yeah, there are. Accessibility is the main one, and that's really important in low-stakes elections. For small groups, for the little things, sure, go for it. But when the future of nations rests on the result, electronic voting is still a bad idea, and you should still vote against it while you can. I'm endorsing Dashlane for two reasons.
Sorry, I swear I unmuted my mic. Anyway, so what are your thoughts? Did I press that? I must have pressed that. Anyway, what are your thoughts? I was going to say, I think the point he had at the very end about how using it for smaller local elections would be not a bad idea necessarily, but big national elections, of course, would be a bad idea. How did I mute that? I don't know when I pressed that button. I must have. Anyway, welcome back, folks. The volatility of Bitcoin markets alone makes you distrust blockchain. Yeah, exactly. Have no thoughts, head empty. I mean, fair, understandable. I get it. There's a lot going on here right now. Okay. But yeah, I think the unfortunate reality of digital voting is that it's very, very optimistic. And yeah, a lot of people are not going to address all of the serious issues with it. Yeah, cybersecurity is tough, is a good way to put it. Yeah, exactly. Nations are cringe, they are. Nothing like clicking back and seeing me talking muted. I can keep doing it if you want. Anyway. Can any of you lip read? I was thinking for a second, it's like, I could totally do something. You bunch. I won't. That's too edgy for Twitch. I'll get TOS. Anyway. So, what were we we were talking about direct democracy, and then we got onto that. How did that happen? Lip read, yes, I have tonight as well. There you go. Yeah, how did we end up? I suppose we were already discussing. We were discussing Medicare, and then we got on to Tom Scott. Be a good running gag. You know what else is a good running gag? Me running. I can't do it. I'm atrocious at running cardio. Okie dokie. I feel like I need to pee. I've been pissing all day. I've drank too much water. I'm drinking entirely too much water, and now I'm just like, my bladder is tiny. Hey, Draco, what? Sup? Push in. That's what's up. Streamlabs has been messing up for a lot of streamers lately. Like it's doing. Yeah, I've been getting it. I've been getting it. Give me alerts for subscribing on YouTube. I'm like. I don't know why it's been doing that. I might have to get rid of Streamlabs and switch to a different system. Did I hear about the BDSM stuff? We went to a race. They were a real running gag.
Not happy, Jen!
I'm going to eventually get the video clip for that one so that when I press that button it plays on screen. Anyway. Exercise bike, easily. Knees are made of dust and string. Hydrate, how dare you. Anyways. Okay. We got some more news here. Do we want to, got a few things. On the side, like, you know, let's do this. Let's do a bit of fitness discussion. How big is this article, first of all? It's pretty long. But I feel like a lot of people don't realize this. Or they do and they ignore it. Okay, so. Tom has been using performance-enhancing drugs for 8 years, and like many others, he feels trapped in a cycle. That's a PED gag. That's a steroids gag. That trapped in a cycle because you're cycling drugs. That's what it is. Yes, you are trapped in a cycle, quite literally. A comment on his pale skin was one of the triggers that sent Tom towards performance and image-enhancing drugs. Pale skin? Is that a thing you can solve with PEDs? What the fuck? At 29, Tom has used performance and image-enhancing drugs for the past 8 years. PIEDs. The average person looking at a fitness model on social media wouldn't realize most of them are juiced up, the Brisbane lawyer says. I mean, who... Be honest with yourselves. How many really gorgeous people have you looked at on social media and said, yep, they're completely natural. They're not using illicit substances. Be real with yourself. A lot of fitness people deny using drugs to get their bodies looking that way because of sponsorships. Well, duh. I think Callum Von Moger actually did a video a little while back where he was completely open about his steroid usage. And I mean, if you look at Callum Von Moger, you know, it's hard to deny the man's on steroids, for God's sake. Anyway, PIEDs are often used to change a person's physical appearance or enhance their sporting performance. They include substances like anabolic steroids, weight loss drugs, and even injectable substances that can help a person tan if their natural limits prohibit them from doing so. Okay, so that's what he was talking about. That's weird. That's strange. Yeah, Arnie even spoke in an interview about using them, yeah. Does he use melatonin? There's definitely a correlation between how I'm looking, my fitness levels, and my confidence, Tom says. Not Tom Scott, for the record, just so we're clear. According to the Australia Talks National Survey 2021, 1 in 3 men aged 25 to 29 say looking at what other people post on social media makes them feel worse about themselves. Well, yeah, like if you go on any sort of, especially male-dominated social media sections of like Instagram or whatever, where they're posting pictures of their bodies and things like that, all these dudes look ridiculously unreasonable. And like I've seen these people out in public as well. I've seen these dudes who just look entirely unreasonably attractive, if that makes sense. And I'm not attracted to men, I'm just talking like socially speaking. And it's like, knowing what I know about this kind of stuff, I look at them and I think, how much juice are you on, bruz? You know, how much gear are you on, mate? Realistically speaking. Moving on. Especially if they're making a lot of money, you know. Tom doesn't believe he's the typical gym junkie. He's not noticeably muscular but doesn't spend all day in the gym, but despite being aware of the illegality of these substances, it's a risk he takes regularly. In Australia, it's illegal to manufacture, import, possess, or supply steroids without a prescription or medical practitioner license. Penalties vary for each Australian state and territory. This also happens to be the case for like HRT for trans people. There are a lot of them who can't get a prescription, so they go illegal. According to the most Australian Needle and Syringe Program survey, ANSPIS, Tom's story isn't an isolated one. The survey showed PIEDs were reported as the last drug injected between 4% and 7% by between 4% and 7% of respondents over the period of 2012 to 2019. Two-thirds of the respondents were male, and according to Jenny Iverson, one of the report's authors, almost a third of users were new. Our data indicates that over the last 5 years, just under one-third of people who participated in the ANSPIS who reported last injecting PIEDs were new initiates, Dr. Iverson says. Performance-enhancing titties. Yes, please. I know of neo-Nazis that import their drugs, never seen them get in the shit for it either. Well, I mean, if they're white, that would explain it. Given the way these drugs are acquired and used, experts believe the number of users could be far greater than the research suggests. That's usually the case. Tom says his PIED use hasn't been without side effects. What a shock. He experienced a crippling lack of libido and sexual dysfunction for months after using it for the first time. I had the testosterone levels of a 60-plus-year-old at 21, he says. It was a 6-week cycle, and I suffered the consequences for months after. He also lost a lot of the progress he made in the gym once he stopped taking the drug. if they are white, they are white. It's the cost of these things. You've got to stay on them if you keep your results, which is what's called blasting and cruising for anyone who is curious about that. You know, they get on steroids, and in order to maintain their gains, blast and cruise. Sometimes they'll start at a certain level, and then increase their dosages over time to the point where it's obviously grossly unhealthy. You know, you'll often hear about bodybuilders and powerlifters dying at a very young age. Loss of libido and sexual dysfunction stares in his stradiol. Right? My sex drive has been dead for months. I'm good with it. I'm happy with it. Heart issues, yeah. Steroids have because the heart is a muscle, and when you're using performance-enhancing drugs that are designed to increase your muscle mass, it increases the mass of the heart, which is not good for the bloody thing. You know. Anyway, speak for yourself. Has it done the opposite for you? Has it? He also injects a drug widely used to help achieve a normal-looking tan. I had a girlfriend who got in my head when I was younger about being too pale, and she'd encouraged me to visit solariums, which didn't help, he says. That was the gateway, and once I was there, it kind of opened up possibilities for injecting other drugs like testosterone. Ada Chung, a specialist endocrinologist from Melbourne, says one of the dangers of taking PIEDs is not really knowing what you might be buying online. She says some of the common side effects and risks associated with the abuse of PIEDs include, but aren't limited to, infertility, shrinking testes, I gotta get on this stuff, high blood pressure, acne, liver and heart problems, increased aggression and irritability, prostate enlargement, gynecomastia, I really gotta get on this stuff, and triggering of hair loss if you are genetically predisposed. Dr. Chung says people often take other drugs in conjunction to try to mitigate the side effects of the initial drugs. You just keep taking drugs to put off the side effects of the other drugs. You'll probably get other side effects from those drugs. Just a perpetual cycle of taking more and more and more and more drugs. The bloody thing. Abigail Beck describing a heart. What drug is this? It's talking generally about performance enhancing... What did it say? Performance and image enhancing drugs. So just in general. Which is generally testosterone related things. Stuff like Anavar, Dianabol. What else is there? There's a bunch of it. There's steroids. Just steroids. Anyway, people take one thing, then take another thing. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. Dr. Chung says users often avoid seeking medical advice for fear of judgment, of course, toxic masculinity much, but she urged users not to be afraid of seeking medical help. We might not be able to convince you to stop, but we can monitor things like your blood pressure, take blood tests, and make sure we minimize the harm abusing these drugs may have. This is the thing, is like I've seen a lot of bodybuilders who actually stay in touch with medical professionals to maintain these things so that they don't end up like Rich Piana. Tom says the desire to be noticeably fit was not just to look better. He says it gave him confidence and helped him signal qualities just beyond just looks. Discipline, hard work, self-control, and generally having your shit together, he says. Psychologist Scott Griffith's work investigates body image, eating disorders, muscle dysmorphia, anabolic steroid use, and the stigmatization of mental health disorders and related behaviors. He says the social capital from having a fit, muscular physique is only increasing over time. Let's talk about social capital in a minute. That's a good idea. Sociology stuff. Let's do that. You can walk around as the physical manifestation of what you eat and how you look after yourself, quite literally, Griffith says. You should never underestimate how deeply held and secretive people's desires to look better can be. This is especially true for men. Dr. Griffith says there is nothing intrinsically wrong with wanting to look better, but if it becomes an obsession leading to destructive high-risk behaviors, then it's a problem. In my mind, the greatest set of side effects aren't the physical costs and harms, it's the psychological costs when you become dependent on them, he says. Dr. Griffith says there needs to be a cultural reckoning with how much value people place on appearance and how much appearance should influence success. Because if you ask people explicitly how much appearance should matter, they downplay it and say it shouldn't, all the fucking time. But when you look at how people are spending their money and what their insecurities are over the span of a lifetime, it's right up there all the time. Name has been changed to protect this person's identity. I'm assuming that means Tom. Yeah, Tom's not actually named Tom. But yeah, this kind of stuff speaks to me on an intrinsic level. The amount of people I've spoken to who will insist to you, especially with regards to like potential partners and things of that nature, they'll be like, oh, I don't care about appearance, or like, I don't care what I look like, and then they will whinge about certain facets of themselves. I do it all the fucking time. I hope this bloke gets help, but broadly, fuck these guys for making it harder to get HRT testosterone. Is that actually a thing? Free the United Kingdom from drugs, incorporating British opposition to metabolically bisturbile drugs. What are those? God, I don't know why my stomach keeps grumbling lately. I must be like, I don't know. Should it matter? No, but it definitely matters a lot in society to a point we can't ignore it. True. Hello, Lilith. Why are you laughing? But yeah, like body images are, yeah. Anyway, what we're doing, we're gonna look at social capital. But yeah, body image is one of those things where it's like we try it. I think a lot of us have this moral compulsion to insist that body image doesn't matter to us. We feel as though we are somehow better people by insisting, no, I am not. I don't care how someone looks as long as they're a good person. You know, I don't care how I look. I know I'm better than just my appearance, kind of thing. And then you have a tendency to, you know, speak to these people for more than 2 seconds. And a lot of them are often masking behaviors that they know to be generally socially unacceptable about appearance. I bitch about it regularly, but it's relevant. True. Brass eye gag. Wait, what? What did I miss? Yes, subconscious social contrarianism. Yes, indeed. That's a good way of putting it. You know, I've had that thing before. I've had someone say to me before, you know, what kind of women are you into, sort of thing. And I've had the momentary thought in my head of like, well, I could espouse that bullshit of I don't care what she looks like as long as she's a good person. But the reality of it is, and I know this is, you know, speaking more about personal body image, and we'll get to that in a moment. But the reality of it is, you know, generally speaking, we all have our own standards that we apply to potential partners, which we also tend to apply to ourselves. We also, like, we might be seeking a certain type of person, and in order to try to, like, if you are looking for someone to date, if you're interested in attracting a partner, then you're going to look at people who look vaguely similar to you, have a similar identity to you, and you're going to try to emulate them, right? A very unfortunate example I have is that recently at my friend's party the other night, I was there there were two parties going on. There was the 30th birthday party, which was my friend's, and then there was a 21st party right nearby. And there, first and foremost, most of the men and a significant number of the women all looked virtually interchangeable. Honestly, they all mimicked each other. But there were at least a few of the men there that specifically looked like Isaac Butterfield, everyone's favorite. And that couldn't be a coincidence, honestly. They had the long bushy beard and that, you know, shaved on the sides and back and short on top with a bit of gel in it sort of look. It's a very specific look that they were going for. And they're like, well, clearly, this guy must be a hit with the ladies, because allegedly he's got a girlfriend. I don't know. But men would look at someone like him as this pillar of masculinity because he loves to go on about that bullshit. He's one of those Joe Rogan lights. And as a result, you know, you look at other people in your social circles and you try to emulate them. I try to emulate certain trans women in a lot of ways. And also just certain fit women. I like fitness. I like working out. So I will look at other fit women and think to myself, I want to have abs like her, sort of deal. No matter how much I would try to convince myself that it's not that important. It's only some kind of a social, almost indoctrination. I've been convinced that I need this sort of shit, you know. I've been conditioned to think, yeah, I need to train. Yeah, I need to eat right. I need to stay lean. I need to be able to have... I need to be beach body ready, which for various reasons I'm not. And also, it's winter, but you're not going to catch me on the beach. I think every experience was made for me. It's quite odd, yet empowering. You're a raver, it's much better. Google's name sees red on Shinigami eyes. Yeah. Could just not give a fuck and just be fat. But then that speaks to another notion, right, of another social concept. We've been told that we shouldn't give a fuck. We should, you know, just consider ourselves. But that in its own way is a sort of, what's the phrase I'm looking for? My words are escaping me tonight. Tarot and Games, welcome to the program. Beach body ready, I'm beach body ready. You know how I have a body? Is there a beach nearby, though? Important. Dude, my subs keep dropping. We must have had, like, a lot of subs, like, last month. Right around this time. Because it's already dropped down from, like, 83 down to 71. I shouldn't keep track of this. It's... But yeah, socially we're convinced of a number of different things, and, well, obviously, we're all manipulated by the media every single day, every hour of the day. Several, in fact, even ones with sand on them, which isn't that common in Norway. Well, there you go. Stop getting hypno subs then. I just need more money. Just need more money, that's it. Anyway, because if I want to turn this into a job one day, I need to actually be able to support myself from it. Which I'm not going to be able to with this rambling bullshit. Let's move on to social capital. Because this is relevant to this particular topic. We'll talk about this for a minute, and then I'm going to have to dip off for a whiz. Anyway.
Enjoy your membership.
Hey, there we go. Cart Dog, thank you for the tier 1. I'm going to move my alert box. Hang on a sec. My alert box is in a weird place. Where is it? Let's move that, like, over there for a second. There we go. If you gave a fuck about that, you wouldn't be banned from so many channels. What does that mean? So social capital is, according to Wikipedia, we'll just go through this, the network of relationships among people who live and work in a particular society, enabling that society to function effectively. That's not what I'm thinking of. No. It involves the effective functioning of social groups through interpersonal relationships, a shared sense of identity, a shared understanding, shared norms, shared values, trust, cooperation, and reciprocity. Okay, social capital. This is not what I was thinking. I was thinking of there must be another phrasing for this or something. Unless I'm wrong. This may be too technical for most readers to understand. Social capital is a measure of the value of resources, both tangible and intangible. Actors, human capital, people, and the impact. No. This is not what I was thinking. I was thinking like sociologically speaking. Where social capital is... How do you define it? How do you define social capital in a sociological sense? I know this. The social worker. Let's sociology the shit out of this. That's not at all what I was thinking. It's your worth in society based on your social stature, your relationships, the things you're interested in, like the things that give you a sense of social class. When someone says this person is classy, that's the kind of social capital they have. Are they the kind of person that goes to live performances and fancy dinners and all of this kind of shit? Or are they the kind of person who goes to the movies to see the latest superhero film, gets Maccas with their mates? You know, that's what I'm thinking social capital is, not whatever that was. That was nonsense. So social capital is effectively a form of social class, basically, to sum it up. And someone who has got more social capital is generally associated with people who have more capital in general, or more generally a higher income and a higher class stature. It looks at when China was talking about making a type of credit score-like system based on social stature and behavior. That's also relevant to it. What does it say if you replace the dot English with dot simple? Fair. There we go. This is not it at all. Yeah, this is talking like socialism. This is talking about socialism, basically. Social capital is the willingness of people to help each other. It often replaces money, which people would use to buy the same help. Society works best when there is plenty of social capital. The less social capital there is, the more social problems there usually are. Did they make this up? This isn't right at all. This is completely wrong. Social capital is a lot like real capital. It's referring to social interactions as capital itself, as money. Like it's referring to people as having their own value, but not like slavery, but like, you know, people trusting each other and, you know, favor for a favor kind of thing. Like, what is this bullshit? This is not it at all. This is not what social capital is. Gay, yes. Lesbian, specifically. Do people know what I mean when I say that? It could be like how one person ruined that Scottish Wikipedia. Have you got a link for that? Citations needed, yeah. We need some citations in chat. Can we get some citations in chat? Can we get some citation needed in chat? Is there like a... Is there a point where it's talking about sociological social capital? Because this is talking about community. Citation needed. Circling back to Tom Scott for a second. Citation needed was very fun. Citation, is that like a thing he did? Scott's Wikipedia fake. Here we go. Okay. Have a look at this. We'll just glance at this and we'll come back to it because I need to take a piss in a second. Almost the entire Scott's Wikipedia was written by someone with no idea of the language. 10,000s of articles. Fuck me, Dad. Alright, I need to take a leak. I'm going to run an ad break. I will be right back. Sorry, I was going to keep going till 10 and then take a break. But I need to pee really bad because I've drank like at least 2 liters or more of water. Plus I've had tea, coffee, hot chocolate. All of those have water in them. I'm way too hydrated. Holy shit. Have a good one, Lorelei. Thank you so kindly for hanging out. BRB, folks. Don't go away. I will see you when I'm looking at you. How did my viewership go up when I'm on a Be Right Back screen? Am I that boring? Hello, I'm back now. Turn the music down. Sorry. Stop, you little fuck! Somebody tell this stupid shit goblin to stop chewing on my headphone cables. Hello, folks. I'm back. Welcome back to me. He's literally sitting there chewing on my headphone cables. What a fuckwit. I've got green tea. I'm sorry I couldn't be fucked washing the other mug. So you're gonna have to put up with just this plain black, boring rubbish. I'm betraying my own brand here. Okay? I didn't mean for my hair to sit like that, but it kind of looks nice. What do we think? I don't know. Whatevs. Doesn't matter. I haven't been wearing headbands a lot lately for some reason. I don't know why. However, I want to show you a cute thing I bought over the weekend because where my friend lives is fucking frigid. Okay? But look at this. Okay? Oh, hell yeah. I got a fucking beanie. And it's cute. And it is fleece lined. Look at that. Oh my god. I am the pinnacle of adorable right now. Look at me. Oh my god. Someone pick me up. I'm so fucking cute. And very self-absorbed apparently. But it's so warm and nice and good. And I'm wearing a scrunchie as a bracelet for some reason. I mean, I suppose it works. Whatever. Putting on a beanie when you have a hood, you can double up, mate. You can... Is that not awesome? But I mean... You tried and failed, but you still tried. You still tried! You still tried. There's an idea for a, I want to do some, like, effects where it's like I press a button on my Stream Deck and a sound effect plays and some text comes up on the screen, but I don't know how to do animations. I'm shit at doing that kind of thing. It'd be cool as fuck. I'm not at all cute in that outfit and you are not at all jealous. Are you at least jealous of my green tea with mint? Oh, that's good shit. I'm trying to change my dietary habits. Yeah, I'm teabagging. I'm doing a bit of that ninja shit right now. I'm teabagging. The fuck you say to me, you little shit? Talk to your mother with that mouth. Anywho. Let's have a look at this. Let's just jump around from different topic to different topic. Okay. So, as we were looking at, we'll take a glance at this. We won't do the whole thing. Almost the entire Scots Wikipedia page was written by someone with no idea of the language. 10,000 of articles. None of you trained an AI on this dataset, right? In an extraordinary and somewhat devastating discovery, it turns out virtually the entire Scots version of Wikipedia, comprising more than 57,000 articles, was written, edited, or overseen by a netizen who clearly had not the slightest idea about the language. The user is not only a prolific contributor, they are an administrator of sco.wikipedia.org, having created, modified, or guided the vast majority of its pages in more than 200,000 edits. The result is tens of thousands of articles in English with an occasional and often ridiculous letter changes, such as replacing a Y with E. That's right, someone doing a bad impression of a Scottish accent and then writing it down phonetically is the chief maintainer of the online encyclopedia Scots edition. And although this has been carrying on for the best part of a decade, the world was mostly oblivious to it all until today, when one Redditor finally had enough of reading terrible Scots and decided to look behind the curtain. People embroiled in linguistic debates about Scots often use it as evidence that Scots isn't a language, and if it was an accurate representation, they'd probably be right, noted the Reddit sleuth Ultach. It uses almost no Scots vocabulary. What little it does use is usually incorrect, and the grammar always conforms to standard English, not Scots. While nearly all Scottish people speak English, the Scots language was apparently still spoken, read, or otherwise understood by nearly 30% of Scotland's population, according to those responding to a 2011 census. The language got a memorable boost, too, when Scots writing novelist Irvine Welsh's Trainspotting became a silver screen sensation. What? Huh, why are you gone, you crowlin' furly? I don't know what that means. I'm not doing the whole thing. Oh, it's not that long. Okay, it's just got more stuff at the bottom there. The Scots Wikipedia, however, reads like a work of a tourist who attended a Burns night, had one too many, and started channeling their imagined ancestors all over the internet, while occasionally glancing at the online Scots dictionary in another browser tab. Just two examples. A village is a clustered A village. Oh, fuck me, Dad. Remember hanging out with you in person at any point, don't use the accent. My brain will short circuit. What accent might that be? If you ever had a chance to change your fate. Somebody should do a mod for Horizon Zero Dawn that replaces all of Aloy's dialogue with a voice actress that sounds like the voice from Brave. What's her name? I've forgotten. A village is a clustered human settlement or community larger than a hamlet but smaller than a town, with a population ranging from a few hundred to a few thousand, sometimes tens of thousands. In Greek mythology, the Minotaur was a creature with the head of a with the head of a bull and the body of a man, as described by Roman poet Ovid, being a part man and a part bull. A Minotaur was eventually killed by the hero. Athenian hero. I'm like turning into some kind of Eastern European. It was eventually killed by the Athenian hero Theseus. Fuck me dead. Wait a minute. Hello, Kaylin. Oh my goodness. Hi, how are you? I was looking in chat and your name is identically coloured to Obi's. And I'm like, who are you saying hello to? I can't see. Oh, hello. There you are. How you doing? Welcome in. Swear to Hashem, my beard already makes me easily worked up and could cut glass with your nipples. Is there a bonk command? I can't remember. The sheer size and scope is something to behold. Look at virtually any of the 57,000 plus pages and you'll find a nonsensical mishmash of English and Scots. Ultac spent some time going through the articles and reached a conclusion. The editor's just doing a copy-paste job from the English edition with words they think are Scots equivalents, searched and replaced. They do use some elements of Scots that would require a lookup, they just use them completely incorrectly. For example, they translate also as Anor in every context. So Charles V would be King of the Holy Roman Empire and Anor, Spain. Sick. What does that mean again? I can't remember. And Pascal Anor wrote in defense of the scientific method. This is hard to read. I think they did this because when you type also in the online Scots dictionary, Anor is the first thing that comes up. It's not clear whether the Wikipedian who identifies as a Christian furry living in the US, because of course, has spent the past near decade creating thousands of fake posts as some kind of incredible practical joke. You have to admire the commitment, honestly. Or that they honestly felt they were doing a good job. There have been occasional interactions with real Scottish folk taking exception to pages, and the administrator has responded in a deadpan fashion. Amazingly, the dreadful quality of the Scots language version was the focus of an article 5 years ago when Slate noted at first glance the Scots Wikipedia page reads like a transcription of a person with a Scottish accent. This is literally how this was written. I have not changed or edited it. Oh, okay. Let me look at this shit. I use she, her, which is not showing up next to my name in chat for some reason. Because like we have the pronouns extension. If you type !" pronouns, you can also get a link to the pronouns extension, which is for some reason, not working for my account all of a sudden. I'll have to check that. Oh, it's probably because I changed my username recently-ish. Anyways, can Christians just leave my ancestral culture alone for 5 minutes? I know, right? As someone who comes from a Scottish background, which I want to look up my family's tartan. We have a tartan. I may ask my auntie a little bit later on where she got her tartan from, because she's got a tartan scarf. Abby's pronouns are a mystery to her account. Yeah, exactly. From now on, I will just go by it's. I am an object. Anyway, please objectify me. Yeah, my family does have a tartan, and I may try to get one at some point. Which would be pretty cool to have, honestly. This is the McLennan tartan. I don't know what mine is. Mine is a bluish color. Bluish, tealish color, I think. My family's, at least. So yeah, I'll harass my auntie and see if she can hook us up with a link to it, maybe. Maybe there's an online store that I can go to. Hello, darling. How are you? You want to... Family's tartan is just the scarf flag. Sorry, I have to interrupt the Scots. I have to interrupt the Scots. I'm trying to cuddle the cat and he's not being nice. Come on. Is it because there's another cat on my shirt? Is it because you're jealous of the cat on my shirt? Love it. Love it. Does tea count as hydration? Is cat.
I see you brought guests.
Hello, friends.
Welcome, friends.
Hello, Raidery friends. Hey, I'm no, love me. Love me. Hello, Raiders. You like my room? It is pretty cool, isn't it? Except for my stupid light box over there, which is supposed to say the Rogue Room, but it's too bright that the camera can't read it. I just put batteries in that because I thought, oh yeah, let's light that up, and now it's just a box of light on my shelf. Your uncle's a McFarlane. There we go. I wonder how many of us are related, honestly. Hello, hello. How'd your stream go? Tell us all about it. What'd you get up to? I'm sitting here massaging my cat. Let's put it on this angle for a sec. I'm trying to hold you. I'm trying to pat your head. You know you can just relax, right? I'm not trying to hurt you. I'm just trying to let you sit there. And I've noticed we've got Fashy Superhero Shield in the background, and I'm not happy about it. But it's a nice backpack, so shut up. Back when I didn't care so much about politics, I used to wear that to uni. You know. And now I'm a girl. So I'm looking at the wrong camera. Fun story there. Anyways. What was I going to say? Stream went fine, talked about LGBTQ stuff, talked about things involving how the sun hurts because I'm a goth. Understandable. I'm massaging my pussy on stream. If you like the fact that I'm massaging my pussy on stream, hit that subscribe button. Did you know if you have Twitch Prime, you get a free sub once a month? And you should use it to support me. Because I'm hot. I mean, like, well, I'm not hot. I'm kind of warm. Because the heat is on and I'm wearing like a hoodie and a beanie. Like, don't know if asking about clan names. Is that your clan name? Name as... Yes, I'm massaging my pussy. We were going to look at... Okay, you want to go? You can go. Fuck off then. Be a rude wanker. Oh no, you're just going to curl up. Okay, I can take that. If you want to curl up, you can curl up. Okay. Anywho. So weird. He came to Brighton like 2 weeks ago. Now everyone is calling me madam and referring to me as her. It's pretty poggers. That's awesome. Hello, Miss Cherries. How you going? Is doxing. I mean, it could be... I suppose in a roundabout way, you could probably dox someone from an ancestral clan name. It's more likely to happen if they live in Scotland. They've probably got a closer connection to that heritage. But my family is like 4 generations removed from Scotland at this point. So my grandmother's parents or grandparents emigrated to Australia, if I recall correctly. So, and our surname and clan name are nowhere similar. You know, more likely if their surname is their clan name, yeah. Neither of, none of my family members have a Scottish name. I don't have a Scottish name. And I think my dead name was actually Welsh. Was it Welsh? There's a Tartan Finder website. Dude, cool. Sweet. Oh, whoops. Well, I will find out what my tartan is and we'll look it up. There's an Australian tartan. Australian district tartan. This is... Is that what it is? Australian dress tartan, Australian tartan. Is that what it looks like? Australian district tartan. Oh my god, imagine being that bad at Twitch that you get banned by the bot. Imagine being that bad at Twitch that you get banned by the bot. You fucking pussy. You entire pussy, you. Jesus, get good, scrub. Fucking scrub. Alright. Since we've already taken our break, we'll go till like 11 before we take another break. Hello, Myth. How you doing? We were looking at tartans, but now we're going to talk about some queer stuff, because it's always good to stay on top of this. So, and I mean, this should come as no surprise to anyone who has been in a school at any point in their life. Yuki, welcome to the program. The bot can ban people. Yes, indeed. It's got a huge list of, like, any variant of the N-word in there, pretty much. So, be careful. You're good? I'm good. I'm doing good. I feel cute. So that's a big boost on my ego right now. Anyways. So, This is a sad story. 9 in 10 LGBTQ plus students say they hear homophobic language at school, and 1 in 3 hear it almost every day. I mean, it's school, first and foremost. Like, if you're in school, especially high school, kids really like to say the F slur, and they like to refer to things as gay, meaning shitty. So that's not exactly uncommon. I still wish they'd fucking stop, the little bastards. Anyway, bills in the federal and New South Wales parliaments have sought to stop teachers talking about gender and sexuality diversity in the name of either religious freedom or parents' rights. Wait a minute. This is in Australia. When did this happen? Hold the fucking phone. Wait a minute, what? I knew we had some bullshit going on, but you're kidding me. I haven't heard anything about this. First segment, first paragraph, and we're already finding out new shit. Okay. The Australian government invited submissions on the second exposure drafts of a package legislation on religious freedom between the 10th of December and the 31st of January 2019-2020. These are the Religious Discrimination Bill 2019, Religious Discrimination Consequential Amendments Bill 2019, Human Rights Legislation Amendment, Freedom of Religious Bill 2019. Let's. Are they still doing this? What is this? So, Education Legislation Amendment, put forward by Mark Latham. Duh, of course. Text of bill. Let's have a look at this. Oh no! Hang on. There we go. Yes, see, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. I told ya. It's got other words in there too, Catgirl. So yeah, be careful not to. I mean, you did drop the F slur in there, so just careful. Don't do it. I unbanned you, so you're fine now. But the bot does have power. And if you be careful doing stuff like that if you have a sub as well, because it will take your sub away from you. Anyway, yeah, maybe don't drop slurs even as a joke. True. Anyway, so this is introduced by the Honourable Mark Latham. Honourable, my dick. Okay, this was proposed on the 5th of August 2020, so almost a year ago, I think. In Legislative Council debate adjourned 5 calendar days. I didn't know. I knew something about this. Don't make a typo of bigger. I remember reading something about this. So let's have a look at this. If passed in its current form, the New South Wales Education Legislation Amendment Parental Rights Bill 2020 would prohibit teachers from discussing gender and sexuality diversity, which is fucking asinine, as we've discussed in the past. That's just going to serve to make children ignorant and more bigoted, which is exactly what they want. It would also make offering targeted requested support to gender and sexuality diverse, often known as LGBTQ plus students, grounds for revoking teachers' accreditation. So before we go on with this article, let's look at this. Let's have a look at this education legislation amendment put forward by Mark Latham, who is a part of the Australian Nazi Party, basically. The object of this bill is to amend the Education Act 1990, the Principal Act, as follows. To clarify that parents and not schools are primarily responsible for the development and formation of their children in relation to core values such as ethical and moral standards, social and political values, and an understanding of personal identity, including in relation to gender and sexuality. To clarify that parents and not schools. This is the thing. Schools are institutions of education. So thereby, ethical and moral standards, social and political values, and an understanding of personal identity should be discussed in the classroom in some capacity from a neutral standpoint. You know, they should not put this subject matter under the bed, out of sight, out of mind. This should be discussed in the schools, which Mark Latham and his Nazi colleagues don't want. To prohibit the teaching of the ideology, again, clever wording there, you wankers, of gender fluidity to children in schools. It's not an ideology. Ideology is a specific political measure of thinking. You know, gender fluidity is not a political thing unless you idiots make it political, of course. To provide that schools should not usurp the role of parents, that teaching in relation to core values is to be strictly non-ideological and should not advocate or promote dogmatic or polemical ideology that is inconsistent with the values held by parents of students. Again, this stuff is scientific. Okay? Gender and sexuality are scientifically studied. And in such a formative period, such as high school, you know, I think this is largely relating to high school. Where these kinds of more serious topics will be discussed. In primary school, they touch on, like, basic history, math, English. Like, they're not going very deep. You know, they're teaching, as they get to, like, year 4, 5, and 6, they get a little bit deeper in terms of their subject matter, but it's mostly very basic stuff that kids are learning in primary school. Once you get into high school, you start to learn the real serious stuff, which includes science, which includes biological and identity-related sciences, which should be taught during such a formative time as the teenage years. You know, it is important that, you know, kids who might be dealing with gender dysphoria or confusion around their sexuality or things of that nature, it is crucial that these things are taught in a classroom, because it would be the role of the teacher to know and understand these things, because chances are likely that a lot of parents are not going to understand these things. And parents are going to be incredibly, you know, busy. They're going to be working. They're going to be doing whatever it is they're doing. And unless your parents are specifically progressive, by the way, Vern, welcome to the Rogue Room. How you doing? Unless your parents are of a specifically progressive variety, chances are that kind of education is not going to happen in the home. I mean, my daughter, and to an extent my son, I mean, my son does refer to me as her, so I guess he gets it. You know, my kids get it. My kids understand it, but it's not an ideology, is the thing. Is this kind of stuff is well known, well documented. We are aware of what it is, and we are aware that it is a scientific, what's the term I want to use? Like, it's effectively empirical science. It has been deduced, it has been studied, and it is the kind of thing that is basic enough that children should understand it, especially if they're discussing the concept of sex biology in the classrooms, which they do. And if they're going to continue to conflate sex and gender, then they need to have the discussion of gender fluidity in those same classrooms. Am I based or am I based? Okay. Anyway, to provide that schools, should not, you said the role of parents, we already discussed that, to ensure the curriculum. Madame Saturnia. How are you doing? Welcome to the Rogue Room. To ensure that curriculum, syllabuses, and courses of instruction at all levels of schooling do not include the teaching of gender fluidity. Again, this is just absurd. And recognize parental primacy in relation to core values. To ensure that all school staff, including non-teaching staff, counselors, advisors, and consultants, do not teach gender fluidity, and that such staff undertake their duties and engage with students in schools in a way that recognizes parental primacy in relation to core values. They're treating this as though this is a... Yeah, like I mentioned before, they're treating this as though it's a household cultural thing. You know, like if I go to a friend's place and their family says grace before dinner, that's how they're treating this. I and my kids don't say grace. We're not religious. You know, it's not a religious household. We don't do that shit. We don't have any crosses up. We don't have any pictures of Jesus. You know, this is a very strictly secular household. But my daughter might go to her friend's place and they might say grace before dinner. I don't know. But that's what they're treating gender identity as. They're treating sexuality as. They're treating it as this thing that, oh, some households might have these values. It's like, it's not a value, though. It's a part of all of us. We all have a gender identity. We all have a sexuality of some capacity. And kids should be taught that shit so they understand it. We don't support basic science, thanks. Yeah, not even counselors, which is absolutely ridiculous. You know, counselors should exist to explain this shit to kids. This was proposed by Mark Latham of... Is it called One Nation? Is he of the One Nation party? I forget what his party is. Nazis. It was proposed by the Nazi party. Like, literally the person who founded One Nation has made numerous remarks towards effectively genocidal, or what's the one I'm thinking of right now? Where there are ethnic minorities in a certain country and you want to deport them, or like conveniently combust their households. That's what One Nation's core dogma is about. Anyway, to ensure that all school staff, yeah, we already talked about that one. To require schools at the beginning of each academic year to consult with parents about courses of study that will include teaching on core values. To allow parents to withdraw students from instruction on core values where parents object to the particular teaching on these matters of parental primacy. To require the New South Wales Education Standards Authority to monitor the compliance by government schools with the requirements to not teach gender fluidity and to recognise parental primacy in relation to core values. Keep going on with this shit. To provide for a review after 2 years of the compliance of schools with these requirements and for that review to be tabled in both houses of the New South Wales Parliament. This bill also amends the Education Standards Authority Act 2013 to provide that a function of the New South Wales Education Standards Authority includes a requirement to ensure that the school curriculum and teaching standards are developed and applied in a way that which does not teach gender fluidity and which recognises the primacy of parents in relation to core values. This is such absurd puritanical bullshit. That's what this is. This is puritanical bullshit. What's Mr. Nazi's view on furry? I dare say he doesn't like the furries much either. But yeah, this is absolute puritanistic bullshit that specifically states that the... What's the phrase I'm looking for? Christian... It's an attempt to normalize the Christian doctrine in schools that are secular as well as private and religious. And these kinds of things are not in any way something that's solely the responsibility of the parents to teach their children. This sort of stuff, again, belongs in a classroom that discusses this kind of thing because, like I mentioned before, teenagers are going to be experiencing these kinds of things and they're not going to understand them necessarily right away. I mean, teenagers these days have access to the internet, so they can go and do their own research fairly easily if they are dealing with things like dysphoria or homophobia or whatever. Like, you know, they're questioning their sexuality and things of that nature. They can go online these days and just find the information they need, generally speaking. But it is so basic that it belongs in a classroom. You can discuss this kind of thing in 15 minutes. You know, and there's the only reason that Mark Latham and one Nazi would put this, one Nazian, there we go, we'll call it that, would put this forward is because it absolutely threatens the sanctity of the Christian doctrine. You know, pronouns, she, her. It sounds straight up like the BS that GOP lawmakers would try to dish out in America. Absolutely, yes. So Latham used to be Labour, then switched to One Nation. Here's a gem from Wiki. His employment at Sky News was terminated in March 2017 after he made insulting comments about a fellow presenter and the teenage daughter of a governor of the Reserve Bank of Australia. He was too awful for Sky News. Oh my god. Pronouns, you have expert nouns. Yeah, but pronouns get paid. You can be an expert at something and not get paid for it. There we go. A pronoun is a professional noun that gets paid for their job.
I see you've brought guests.
Yeah, exactly. I look this
Welcome,
way because
friends.
I'm beautiful. I'm gorgeous. And speaking of gorgeous, oh, I forgot. I completely forgot. Kiara, I owe you this one as well. Okay. I forgot about the lights. I forgot about the raid lights. How'd your stream go? Extremely Online left. Tell us all about it. What'd you get up to while we put our raid lights on? We are currently discussing anti-gender fluidity school bills in Australia, which is never a good thing. Executive nouns. There you go. My legal name is Abigail. Like, actually, that's my name. That's what I am. That's who I am. That's a stupid question. Anyway, or beginner nouns. I have amateur nouns. Pronouns implies the existence of newbie nouns. Hey, I like that. Indigenous Australia emoji. That's fucking awesome. Always was, always will be. Fucking based. Yes. What's my criminal name? Well, technically, because I'm a criminal in like over 72 countries, it's still Abigail. I am illegal in 70 plus countries. I'm a wanted criminal. Anyway, I think we've sort of gone over them. It keeps going. This is, legal bullshit just keeps going. Anyway, what was your stream? What were you getting up to with your stream tonight online left? How were you going? Stream was good. Glad to hear it. Yeah, we're currently talking about Mark Latham's proposed education legislation amendment, parental rights. Framing this as some kind of, the families should teach their kids gender ideology if they want to. It doesn't belong in schools. Dickhead. About to be Stabagale. Where's my sword? Where's my sword? It's over there. It's out of camera, but I can't. As you are about to see, I cannot go get it. Yes, Stabagale. I've had that pun for a while, honestly. I had that. You want to hear a funny story? Hello. Hello. I can't get up because, yeah. I have to stay here. I can't go get the sword. You know what's funny? I had Stabagale as my character's name on Monster Hunter for a good while there. I had it as my character's name on Monster Hunter World for a while before I came out. I didn't think about that. Oh my god. Oops. Maury, welcome to the Rec Room. That's a roller derby name. I've considered roller derby, honestly. I have. Just egg things. Is Gail short for Abigail? It may be. It may be, honestly. Abby is short for Abigail. Gail could be short for Abigail. Big. It's in the middle there. Could, but no. Was there a link? What was the link? Did I miss something? Pussycam. Pussycam. If you do derby, you have to go with Stabigail. Pretty sure it's free. Well, it's not going to be free for long if we're talking about it. Someone will snatch it up. But anyway. Doesn't matter. That's alright. I'm probably not going to end up doing roller derby. As cool as it would be, I'd like to try it. What do my parents think about my life decisions? They're greatly disappointed in the fact that I don't have a successful career. And then I have to keep borrowing money from them because I keep spending all my money on illicit drugs. They're cool with the fact that I'm a lesbian, though. You did hear a cat. Well, you probably didn't. He hasn't said anything. He's just sitting there. Define success. True. How do you define success? What do you do to define success? Kitty's name is Smudge. Smudge. And he's actually got... I think he's cleaned it off, though. Mostly. He got a smudge on his nose recently, which is very fitting. We don't know what it was. It looks like it's mostly gone now. He must have got like a little something on there, and he must have licked it off. But yeah, for a while there, he was Smudge with a smudge. And that was the name he got when I adopted him. So, I didn't even choose that one. And I'm just looking through this. Is there any more entertaining stuff in this education legislation amendment? Basically, Mark Latham is a fucking idiot, as you would expect, and is trying to invoke the same kind of bills that are going on over in the US. In this circumstance, like, he's enacted numerous bills, I think. He proposed something that happened in Parliament, which was where they weren't allowed to use gender-diverse terminology and things of that nature in the Senate or whatever it is. They had to use, much more strict gendered language. They weren't allowed to... I think they were even talking about how if they were to refer to, say, a trans politician in the House, they would, if it was a trans woman, they'd refer to them as he, him, or something like that. Like, they weren't allowed to... I forget the specifics. We could come back to that. We can go back and look that up. And it was Mark Latham that put that proposal forward, and I think everyone agreed with it, and they did that in the Senate, or whatever it was. And now he's doing this thing, which is going to affect teaching, is now going to affect the education system. As far as I can tell, so this article was published today, so it's talking about this education legislation amendment is not passed yet. So this thing we were just reviewing a minute ago, the education legislation amendment 2020, has not been passed yet. But it would prohibit teachers from discussing gender and sexuality diversity. It would also make offering targeted requested support to gender and sexuality diverse students grounds for revoking teachers' accreditation. At New South Wales universities, the bill will mean programs that educate student teachers about the existence of LGBTQ+ students and how best to support them at school would be at risk of losing their accreditation. The same goes for registered professional development of New South Wales teachers. Such bills fail to acknowledge the daily realities of many LGBTQ+ youth. These young people experience one of the highest rates of school bullying in the Asia Pacific and are almost 5 times more likely to attempt suicide than their peers. My recent report, Free to Be Yet, the second national study of Australian high school students who identify as gender and sexuality diverse, shows alarming rates of homophobic language used in Australian schools. And worse, it shows that, at least from the perspective of students, teachers rarely intervene. Now, again, amid schools, and this was going back to when I was in school and earlier, obviously, use of the phrase like gay and the F slur and even things like the T slur and all of that were commonplace amidst high school students because they're a bunch of little edgelords who think they're the funniest shits on the planet, when realistically speaking, there's a reason that adults, if you're a teenager, right, and you're at a function with family or friends of family or whatever it is, and there are adults present, there's a reason the adults all go off and segregate themselves and hang out in their own little groups and explicitly do not want the teenagers hanging out with you because you're fucking insufferable, alright? Let's get that out of the way right now. Teenagers fucking suck. Nobody wants to hang out with you. There's a reason that you try so hard as a teenager to fit in with the adults, because you're going through that transitory period. You're no longer a kid, but you're not an adult yet. You don't know where you fit in the world other than with the other teenagers. And if you're going to these kinds of family functions, typically there's younger kids or there's the adults. And very infrequently are there other teens. And if there's no other teens, who are you supposed to hang out with? You don't want to hang out with the kids because they're just bratty little kids. But fuck teenagers, dude. They're irritating. Quite frankly, you should just like stop at 10, put them in a tube that automatically grows them up to like 25, and releases them to the world in a way that they're actually able to be tolerated, because fuck, we cannot stand you. Teenagers suck. And you smell. Please take a shower. Anyway. Solarlander, welcome to the Rec Room. Teenagers scare the living shit out of me. As someone who was a teenager years ago, wholeheartedly agree, yeah. Teenagers are an insufferable mix of ignorant and arrogant. Yeah, exactly. And a lot of them are very, very pretentious. They think very highly of their own intellect without knowing a fucking thing. And unfortunately, the situation is, of course, that these edgy teenagers will use all of these kinds of slurs, and it's not at all shocking or surprising. Anyway, what LGBTQ plus students said, the report presents findings from a national survey of 2,376 LGBTQ plus high school students aged 13 to 18. The participants went to government, Catholic, and independent schools. The central aim of the research was to investigate the frequency of harassment and violence towards LGBTQ plus students at school. I also wanted to explore associations between elements of the school climate with respect to gender and sexuality diversity, and the school well-being of these students. Now, this is the thing, like, those teenagers are edgy little fuckwits. That does not at all justify, saying that they're all edgy little fuckwits does not at all justify the kind of attitudes that teenagers have towards sexuality and gender diverse people, queer students. You can be an edgy little shit and I can still feel sympathy for you because you're being bullied because of the fact that you're gay. When teenagers carry their edginess into adulthood, it's insufferable. Absolutely. And there are far too many people who do that. There are so many there are so many adults I've met who never grew out of their teens. They still have the attitude of bitchy little dramatic teenagers who, again, think the F slur is the funniest thing on the planet. Anyway, continuing on. Almost 30% of participants said they had personally experienced or witnessed physical harassment directed at queer students. This group told stories of violence at school with limited teacher intervention or discussion about the issues. Of 93% of students who said they had heard homophobic language at school, 37% heard this almost every day. Only 6% of students said adults always intervene to stop this language. One Year 9 girl who identifies as pansexual wrote, "My classmates call everyone F slurs all the time and the teachers just pretend they don't hear it." Jesus. In some cases, students wrote about how the queer student was blamed for the event. A Year 12 boy who identifies as gay says, "A student threw a rotten apple at the back of my head after telling me that the common room is for normal straight people only. The teacher present then told me I had to leave because I was causing trouble by being there." This is the problem. This is the problem with the schooling system. And this, what's it called? Like this no tolerance policy kind of shit. All teachers are bastards. Like, why is it that the teacher present told them they had to leave because they were causing trouble by being there? What, because they got harassed? That's not how that works, If someone is a victim of an attack like this, student threw a rotten apple at the back of my head, why would you side with the aggressor there? It's a pretty obvious set of circumstances. You can deduce who is in the wrong here and who should be ousted, and it's not the gay kid who was being attacked. And yet for some reason this is such a routine situation. Queer students who went to schools where peers used homophobic and transphobic language more often and with less intervention from adults reported feeling significantly less connected to their school. They also said they were less confident about their teachers, their teachers could manage bullying and keep them safe, and they were less assured their teachers were personally invested in them and their academic success, of course. Teachers are like CPS caseworkers, they hate kids and have a vendetta. That wouldn't shock me. Yeah, beyond school, that's literally an act of assault, exactly. A diverse, positive school climate. A school climate that views gender and sexuality diversity positively is related to queer students' sense of connection and personal investment in school. So again, this is exactly why Mark Latham's bullshit is only going to lead to worse situations. And they know. Sin Drake, by the way, welcome to the Rogue Room. People like Mark Latham are aware that this kind of thing here, or the inverse of this, a school climate that views gender and sexuality diversity positively, is going to relate to those students wanting to strive to pursue their academic pursuits. Pursuits. Fucking hell. People like Mark Latham are aware of this, and it's entirely intentional that he is trying his very damnedest to effectively outlaw any sort of gender and sexuality diversity related education in schools, because it's going to lead to more toxic attitudes towards queer students in schools, and it is going to lead to those people feeling ostracized, and it is going to lead to those higher suicide rates because those kids do not feel like they have a place. And that's the point. The cruelty, the intent to kill off people who are queer is the point, and always has been. And people like Mark Latham know it. They want to see these kids dying. That would be a win for them. It's not like they have some vested interest in, ceasing the ideology or whatever nonsense they're going on about. They are well aware of what they're doing. Trust me. No matter how stupid he may look. The cruelty is the point. It's a mixed bag. There are a lot of fuck teachers, but the good teachers and the ones that got into it for the right reasons do a lot more of the work for a lot less. True. Kids are actively told personal boundaries and safety does not matter. It's wild. And the Save the Children types want to make it even worse, of course. Of course they do. You'll be a teacher next year, hopefully. You're looking forward to it. I hope to be a positive influence and teach them as best as you can. I hope so. You went to a Seventh-day Adventist high school and your favorite teacher... There we go. Was this science teacher that also doubled as a religious studies teacher till she led a class where she had us draw out a morality table, which was like a rectangle that was shaded in a gradient from white to black, and told us to place abortion and murder and gay people on the table, asked us if we knew what homosexuality was, and then told us it was when one guy does graphic sex act to another man. Oh, good lord. Oh my god. The Save the Children people are making it worse. Bill Gates had 150,000 accounts banned from social media because the group Save Our Children was shedding light on the overall problem. Save the Children, not from the kitty diddling priests, though. Oh yeah, they always like to dodge that and deflect around that one, don't they? You were going to be a teacher once, but it turned out to be a really weird thing where there wasn't even a job going. That's unfortunate. I would like the idea of being a teacher, of being a supportive teacher, but... I don't know, man. Anyway, coming back to this. In this survey, LGBTQ plus students scored worse than mainstream peers on nearly every measure of school-based well-being. This included their sense of connectedness to school, a known predictor of academic achievement. However, where queer students attended schools that explicitly named sexual orientation as a protected category in their harassment policy, those students' school-based well-being exceeded those of their mainstream peers. Hello, Talon, how you doing? Around 3/4 of students who were in Year 9 or above said it was definitely or mostly false that they had learned about a range of gender and sexuality diverse identities in their health and physical education classes. Excuse me. Queer students who reported more inclusion of diversity issues in their curriculum had significantly better school-based well-being than queer students in schools with little to no inclusion. Unsurprisingly, queer students with higher levels of these forms of well-being were significantly more likely to say they would attend university. Teacher attitudes make a difference. The study also measured how queer students perceive themselves academically, known as academic self-concept. This is measured using 8 items that include statements such as, compared to others my age, I am good at most school subjects, and it is important to me to do well in most school subjects. The survey then asked students to indicate how true it was that their teachers talk about same-sex attraction, lesbian, gay, or bisexual people or topics in a positive way. Response options range from definitely false to definitely true. Looking at students' mean or average academic self-concept score against their ratings of teacher positivity, sorry, I need some water, hang on. Where was I? Results show where students viewed their teachers as more positive about same-sex attraction across each of the 6 response options. They also reported higher academic self-concept. Here we go. So what else have we got here? Likewise, students were asked to indicate how frequently their teachers do something or say something positive, like stop the students or talk to them about using that language. When negative language about lesbians, gays, or bisexual people is used by students and a teacher or school staff member is present, response options range from always to never. As the graph below shows, students who indicated that their teachers always intervened had the highest average academic self-concept, with students who indicated their teachers never intervened reporting the lowest average academic self-concept. I see. There we go. These results show more training and encouragement should be given to Australia's teachers to speak out against homophobic and transphobic harassment and violence in ways that educate students and reduce its incidence. Such efforts, alongside positive inclusion, can enable LGBTQ+ students to reach their full potential. And that's the problem with people like Mark Latham, is he doesn't want the queer people to be able to succeed. It's a long game that they play. I want to say the homophobes, which is technically accurate, but the queerphobes in general. You know, when people feel as though they are not accepted and they are mistreated and they are denied their personhood and their identity by those around them, then of course that's going. I mean, me, Erica, welcome to the Rogue Group. Erica Vegan Soy, welcome to the Rogue Group. But yeah, like I'm a good example of this. I was treated like fucking shit, not because I was queer, mainly because I was autistic, actually. But you know, I I did have that problem of not feeling included and feeling ostracized and all of that. And I have struggled so hard with trying to pursue further education in adult life. It's been such a difficult thing because I've still got all these concepts nagging at me in the back of my head about how I was treated by those around me in that school environment. And I can only imagine, like, again, I wasn't explicitly a queer teenager, so I never got bullied on that part. I never got harassed on that part, but I can only imagine how it would have been, you know, were I out and proud at the time, running around school with my trans flag draped around my shoulders as a cape. Look at me, I'm the trans superhero. And as a result, yeah, like a lot of this kind of stuff is being encouraged. A lot of this kind of attitude towards queer people is being encouraged. Not because queer, but why. I was harassed and bullied in school because I was autistic. I am autistic. You know what I mean? Can't cope in a classroom situation at all. Yeah, I struggle with it a lot. Feeling of ostracism for being autistic is what made you terrified to come out as trans when you were younger. That's why some parents choose homeschooling, but Oklahoma now has laws in place to make homeschooling considered educational neglect. For God's sake. Neurodiverse, yeah. There was a trans woman in your class who was presenting as a gay man, and she got the shit kicked out of her all the time. Jesus. That's awful. He had legit attempts to kill me for being weird, so I was like, the fuck they gonna do if I rock up to school in a skirt? Yeah, I know. Exactly. And like was mentioned before, like these attitudes are encouraged by people like Mark Latham and by legislation like this that would keep people ignorant, that would keep other students ignorant. If they're not teaching students, and it is such an important thing now. And it wasn't 50 years ago or what have you. It was not the kind of thing that they would teach in schools 50 years ago. But as society has indeed rapidly progressed over that past 50 years, indeed since stuff like Stonewall happened, the society has become more open and aware and accepting of all different kinds of queer identities. It has reached a point where it is a moral imperative of the state to make sure that this sexuality and gender diverse education is taught in schools. It is imperative because it is such a crucial part of social discourse right now. You know, it's not. There are a lot of people out there. I've seen this mentioned when I brought up the trans tag and like all the other identity tags on Twitch, here on Twitch. So many people have had responses on Facebook, on Reddit, on Twitter, where they're just like, oh, I don't think identity's that important. I don't want people to be like categorizing themselves by their identity. It's weird. Why would you categorize yourself by your sexuality? And the reality of the situation is that having that ability to categorize yourself on a platform like this and being able to openly express, I am this, I am trans, I am a lesbian, Being able to put that out there into the world allows other people like me to find people like me. And if you exist in a school environment where you're not allowed to be open and proud because the school system effectively subconsciously tells you through the lack of education on the subject that you're not allowed to be out and proud about those kinds of things, it's going to make it harder for those people to even cultivate social circles that would relate to their queerness. Because whether you like it or not, queerness is a thing that allows you to find your tribe, so to speak. It allows you to find people who are like you in much the same way as if you were to go online searching for a miniature painting group. Do you paint minis? Like Warhammer and stuff? It becomes its own measure of like an activity almost. It becomes a part of your identity in the same way as that. You know? The people who typically say those things have never had trouble finding a community that understands them. Exactly. AKA straight white cis guys. Welcome to the Rogue Room, Divinity Rose. Like the Oglaf Demon Girl comic. Same types that whine about X amount of genders or why do you let your sexuality be your whole personality are the same who go on and on and on about being alpha, beta, sigma, gamma, omega, etc. ad nauseum males. Yes, do not look up Oglaf if you're at work or if you're live on Twitch. But yeah, this kind of thing, especially now. Excuse me. And people like Mark Latham, this kind of thing where they're introducing this kind of legislation, they're trying their very best to subdue any discussion around these kinds of things, is because they realize, and they really don't like, the fact that people are now openly, broadly talking about queer stuff, including trans identity, including gender identity, including sexualities. They really do not like the fact that this is a common thing in social discourse now. And they're doing everything in their power to suppress it so that it doesn't continue into further generations. And it is the flailing of a dying breed. I'm crossing my fingers, honestly. I really hope that these are the flailings of a dying breed of people who realize that their own ideology is going by the wayside as more and more people in society become woke, essentially. Become aware of the social issues surrounding identity. Anyway. On the other hand, Oglaf is hilarious. Yeah, exactly. How you doing, Divinity? Every person you met who says people shouldn't make queerness their whole personality would unironically argue for minutes on end about how such and such woman is unattractive. Yes. Absolutely. I have met so many men. Specifically men, who will make those statements that they don't like it when gay people make the gay their whole personality, you know, which they really don't. They'll say the gays are shoving their agenda down our throats, and then they just what's the word I'm looking for? They just objectify women in such grotesque ways. They talk about the gross things they do to a woman all the time. And think about how many heterosexual relationships are portrayed in mass media, in popular culture. How many completely unnecessary situations there are to inject a relationship into a movie or a TV show that doesn't warrant it. You know, why do we need to know that character X, Y, or Z has a wife or a husband? Why do we need this sex scene that doesn't serve to facilitate the plot? Why do we need to have these two characters working side by side? One's a man and one's a woman. And then, they go off on an adventure, an action film kind of romp. It's basically a buddy comedy. And then at the end, the guy kisses the girl, despite the fact that there was no relationship development throughout the film. That kind of thing. You want to talk about sexuality being shoved down people's throats? Heterosexuality's been doing it forever. Type exclamation mark Abby in chat, and you'll ABI, and you'll get my pronouns. I'm she/her, by the way. But why do people care about what people make of their personalities even? So what if their personality is solely being gay? Why do people care? Motherfucker, are you a life coach? Exactly. Like, it's not about you. It's a way to make something that's not about them, right? most cishets are not going to engage in any meaningful way with gay people. And yet, they want to engage with it in some way that inconveniences them, so they've got something to whinge about that thing. The cishet got their sex depictions allowed in mainstream media a few decades ago. Now they're full on fuck you got mine mode. Oh yeah, absolutely. You were watching a movie the other day and there was a sex scene and I was like, where did that come from? I've had that happen so many times. Been watching something and suddenly there's people fucking. And I'm like, but why? Like, there was a show I watched recently where there were sex scenes that facilitated the plot in some way. They actually served to move the plot forward. They were still a little bit unnecessary, but it wasn't just, let's have a quick cut to show you that these two characters are fucking, just so you're aware of the fact that they is fucking. You gotta be aware of the fact that this man is putting his penis inside this woman. You as the viewer need to know that. It's crucial. Except it never actually applies in any meaningful way to the film or show or whatever. A girl in a movie hates the main character's guts, then 5 minutes later she wants him to literally have her babies. Yeah, exactly. That's why you stick with weigh-in comedies. They don't know true suffering. It comes down to that whole thing of, like, they so desperately want to be oppressed by something. They so desperately want to be upset and annoyed by something. You know? They like each other. Okay, they fucking... I already know they like each other. You need to... They fucking... in the MPAA, it's unironically standard practice for straight sex to be PG-13, but queer sex is always R or even X. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Why not get the woman to peg the guy? when the penis is meaningful. Meaningful. The generation that grew up in the era of the American Pie franchise. Oh, I know. Atrocious. If ever there was a film franchise that should be stricken from the annals of history forever and everyone having their memories wiped of it, it's American Pie. Good fucking God. Save us all. We do not need it. Stifler's mum. Fair point. But anyway. Oh, goodness me. Deadpool did it. Deadpool did it. Yeah, true. American what now? American Pie. Anyways, I could go on and on and on and on about this. It's so irritating, especially as someone who lived in that attitude for such a long time, as that masculine white dude who would talk about the sexy things he did to the sexy ladies. You know? I think I have a particular umbrage with that kind of attitude because I've lived it. Because I've been in it, unironically trying to emulate the men that did it. And, yeah, it's just got a particular sting for me. They are good lights. How are you, Jism? One day we saw the activists who were complaining about the sex stuff out there promoting 50 Shades of Grey. Yeah! Like, the thing that got me about 50 Shades of Grey is when that movie was at its peak, I was in a supermarket. And they had a stand near the front entrance of the supermarket promoting that bullshit. The movies and the books. And I'm like, why is this in the produce section? What does this have to do with apples and celery and onions? What the fuck is this doing here where I'm buying food? Where, again, the entrance to the supermarket, not off in, like, the store had a little book section. It's not off over in the book section as a promo over there where you can, and yes, I'm going to be puritanical right now. Why is it in the entrance to the store and along the main walkway to the checkouts where kids can see it, Rose? Exactly. And again, I'm one of the pro kink at Pride people, for the record. But why the fuck was that? Again, extremely, basically pornographic, yes, I'm using that term, literature. Why is that there? For some reason, heterosex, really right in front of myself. If 50 Shades were about a dude living in a trailer, it'd be a Law and Order Special Victims Unit episode. Yeah, like not even getting into all the reasons why 50 Shades of Grey is fucking garbage. It's just a portrayal of heterosex, the most boring heterosex. That movie, that series was done better in the movie Secretary. So we're clear. So we're clear. If you have any interest in 50 Shades of Grey at all, just watch Secretary. And put 50 Shades in the bin. Or read Sunstone, according to Solace. There you go. Isn't pro kink. It's this is bad. Better tame the bad boy. Yeah. Twilight's already terrible. Yeah, exactly. How do you go from terrible to worse? Someone is into BDSM. 50 Shades is a goddamn shame. It's for people who don't know better. It's not a good intro to kink. Yeah, exactly. It also corrupted a bunch of people's minds because it was just so stupid popular. You wish you knew this before watching the entire trilogy years ago. It was bad, yeah. So I've heard. So I've not watched it. I refuse to. I've read and seen enough about it to know it's atrocious. Okay? I am willing to trust the opinions of those who are close to me who've spoken about it on this one. And the critics that I've heard speak. Shoe on Head and when she was dating What's-He-Face, Armored Skeptic, they did a series of reviews on those movies and explained everything wrong with them. And I know, however you feel about Shoe, however you feel about Skeptic, they were good videos, you know, from a completely non-political perspective. From discussing just how bad those things were. The one good thing that came out of 50 Shades are the comedic readings of it. Well, true. Can't stand her after the Pride discourse. Yeah, she's got a few takes where I'm like, oh, I can't believe I follow you. But at the same time, I mean, whatever, have your stances, but it's just kind of ironic that somebody who was getting around wearing a collar in public for a good few years would be anti-kink at Pride. You know, the problem with the kink at Pride discussion, and Vorsh has the same take, Shu has the same take, Riley has the same take, is that they are conflating kink with outright explicit sex acts. And they're not saying that the sex acts are actually happening, they're just inferring that everything relating to kink is an inference of sexual activity, which it's not. But did we watch... You know, we've had this discussion before. Did we watch Lily Simpson's video on the kink at Pride thing? Does anyone remember? I think we did. I did. By myself. I don't know if we did as a stream. Did we watch Lily Simpson's video on kink at Pride? Does anyone remember? Hearing Krillin talking from the perspective of the woman getting railed was... Rightio, Drake, have a good one. Vorsh, Shu, and Riley are running the Conservatives' errands as far as kink at Pride is concerned. Yeah, exactly. They have a very Puritan view on it. And given what Pride represents, it's a backwards viewpoint to take. Anyway, there's a lot to unpack there. Android 18 would probably be into it. She's been on the receiving end of his special bean can. Shu made her bread and butter on GG. GG. What's GG? She's always been a bit weird, politically speaking. I always thought she was sort of on the left, but it seems she comes across as more centrist. Oh, Gamergate, yeah. Riley Grace Rochon is who we're talking about. Which is like one of the major issues with the no kink at Pride thing is there are still a lot of people, yes, even amid the queer community, who think that being trans is kink. Like I somehow do this for some AGP reason. Abigail doesn't come off at the end of the night once I'm done getting off to it, which I don't because I have no sex drive. You know. Don't the queers want to be politically expedient? No, that's why we're an issue in the first place. Exactly. It's a huge elephant in the room, yeah. They don't want to address that one, though. Which sucks. I would like to see some of them actually look at that argument that there are a lot of people, queer or not, who see trans people as a kink. Anyway. Should we continue with some queer news? Some queer news. I don't know why I did like a kissy sound. It just happened. But here's a thing on the subject. And again, I really don't like this website because of the way they write. They've got a very extremist way of writing from their own perspective. They use very emotional language. Don't like that when it comes to journalism. But it's pink news. Surprise. White women insist they're not racist, just homophobic after seeing two black women kissing in a pool. Good lord. It's okay, guys. They're not racist. They're just homophobes. There's a word on my mind right now, and I don't want to say it, and you know what it is. It's a name. We're not going to get into that discourse tonight. A group of white women were shamed by hotel guests and escorted away by security after they complained about witnessing two black women kiss. We're not bigots, we're just bigots. This is sidestepping the axe into a pit of fire. It absolutely is. The video uploaded by the Instagram account The Black Bay Area showed the aftermath of a confrontation between a group of white women and hotel guests at the Kimpton Sawyer Hotel in Sacramento, California. The Instagram post went into more detail about the altercation that preceded the events in the video. The caption explained that a pack of white straight women, they're a pack, who were visiting the hotel demanded that a queer black woman stop kissing her girlfriend in the pool because there were children present. Do you think for a second they'd have a problem if it were two straight people kissing? Who happen to be not black? Anyway. Where was it? It added, of course, there were many other straight white couples in the pool with plenty of PDA, but they only insisted that black queer women stop, and we know why. Oh, they absolutely hunt in packs. Have you seen ladies like this? Of course they hunt in packs. They go out there in groups with matching shoes. Like, yes. When confronted by bystanders, the white party claimed there's no way they were racist because one of them was Hispanic. You can be white and Hispanic. For the rec, so we're clear on that. Like you can't be both. So let's have a look at the video here. We'll mute this for a second. We'll watch the video. This is going to be painful, so warning.
Yeah. Shame! 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 Shame!
Yes! Shame them.
Shame! 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 Shame!
Because they're white. How is that? That's shame.
Oh god. No, I wasn't done watching it. Come back. I want to see the whole... Hang on, then okay, we're not that far ahead. Okay, here we go. She's gonna use the viewpoint of, shaming someone. What was it? Shaming someone because they're white?
Shame. Because they're white. How is that?
Yeah, because they're white. How's that not racist?
That's shame. Fuck off.
Fuck off. Why does it matter if they have children or not? What's the problem? Why does it matter if they have children? Again, this is coming from someone whose best friend is a lesbian in a relationship with another lesbian. If they kissed in front of kids, it's not a problem. What's the problem? Dude looks gone as just pointing at the camera. Like, if a straight couple can kiss in public, why can't a gay couple kiss in public? You have to answer that question somehow. You have to give me an actual valid reason as to why.
Good, because you'd be a fucking terrible dad. You'd be a terrible dad.
You'd be a terrible dad. Why? Men and women kiss in front of children. Why would this guy be a terrible dad?
What is wrong with you? I have never met anybody like you guys.
Lady,
Do
the homework.
My God! I have never been more embarrassed in my life than you.
Won't someone please think of the children?
I am a Jewish woman from New Jersey.
I'm sorry, was anyone asking if you were Jewish? Does that have anything to do with anything? Madam? I have to inquire, what does you being Jewish have to do with the fact that you were complaining about black women kissing in a pool? I pressed the button and it didn't work. I pressed the wrong button. Beg pardon? Oh my god, okay, I hate to be pedantic. What is with this guy's pec inserts? For those of you who are wondering what I'm talking about, like the way his muscles sit. Like, what's going on there, dude? No offense, but like, why are his pec muscles so strangely separated? Okay, I'm not trying to disparage him here or anything, but that's the kind of muscle insert that would not win you any medals at a bodybuilding competition. Like, legitimately, his pecs are too separated, and he would lose points. He would lose so many points for those pec inserts. I don't know why I'm going on about this. Anyway, for those of you who are wondering, muscle inserts is where, like, the way the muscle sits on your body. Like, you know, can I show my... I don't know how to describe it. Shame! My milking pride being a woman for more views on Twitch. What does that even mean? You're homophobic, but you're from New Jersey? Oh, never mind. Go off. Yeah, right? What is up with that hat? What's the hat? What's the hat? Hang on. It just says 50. I don't know. It's not technically a red hat. You know, like the, not a MAGA hat.
Kids here still.
Yeah, there's kids here still and she's calling people pieces of shit. She's going out here calling people pieces of shit. There's kids present. Chest is so straight that if they touched it might be gay. Like, she's going around and like the other lady as well. She's giving a finger to the camera and saying, "Fuck you!" You're worried about two women kissing. And you're going to be screaming profanities at people. Which is worse here? In terms of don't do that in front of the children.
You're suburban! Suburban! I live in Oakland, you fucking asshole!
I don't know what to do with these people. Live in Oakland. Fucking congratulations? Like, what? Okay, so this woman is part of a cabal of women who were complaining to, I guess, the management at this pool or whatever it was, that there were two black women kissing, two lesbian black women kissing. You know, meanwhile, a bunch of heterosexual white couples nearby were, you know, displaying PDA as well. But apparently it's only a problem when it's two black lesbians. And they're saying they're not racist, they're only homophobic. Protect the kids, not from the mad woman screaming profanities at two lovers minding their own business, right? Oakland is a shithole then, must be. Shame. Again, there's a kid behind you. There is a child behind you, and you're... Do they not realize that kid's gonna be like 8, and she's there angrily screaming profanities at this dude in the pool who's just shouting shame, by the way. He's just shouting shame. And again, she's part of a group of people who are complaining about black lesbians kissing. What is this cognitive dissonance? I don't get it.
Where are you in Oakland?
Where are you in Oakland? Oh, Oakland is a black community. Okay, I see. Won't someone think of the children? Literally, this is what they were complaining about. Don't tell me she just called them black losers. Did she really? She did not. Hang on. Come back. You're a loser and a fucking loser. Wow. Congratulations. That was top notch. Okay. Please just, like, if you're ever in this situation where you've been caught out being a bigot, I urge you, I mean, as fun as the drama is, as cool and neat and fun and hip as it is to ramble and rant on these people, I am cringing so fucking hard right now. Don't put yourself in the situation where you are that person. Don't draw attention to yourself. Don't try to moralize. Okay? Just leave the establishment and take the L. For the love of goodness. Loser and a fucking loser. However will they come back from that double burn? Fucking got 'em. Kabam. With the 1-2 punch. Loser and a loser. you're a double loser of the world. It's so cringe. You know what this is? You know what this is an indication of? This kind of attitude is the indication of someone who has grown up in the most privileged circumstances in their life, and they've never had anyone telling them no. Okay? I'm going to put that out there right now. These are the kinds of people who grew up with a cabal of yes men, or probably yes women. You know, these were the kinds of women who had a flock of other girls chasing them around high school, sucking up to them all of the time, and they were never wrong about anything, right? They could never be wrong about anything, so they can't accept and admit defeat. They don't know how to. Yes, folk, that works. Yeah, these kinds of people, men and women alike, by the way, and non-binary folks, although that seems less likely, broadly, like this stream. Yeah, these kinds of people have never been told no in their life. They've never been corrected in their life. And thus they don't know what to do when they're being told, hey, you're being a fuckwit. In the video, a group of white women are being herded away from the pool area by hotel security as guests chant shame at them. They were committed to the bit. They were committed to the bit. When one person says they don't want children, I missed this bit, but I caught her reply. Good, because he'd be a fucking terrible dad. Also, just gonna say this out loud. I was really terrified of the fact that whoever's recording this on their phone is doing so in the pool. Don't do that. You'll ruin your phone. You dickhead. And neither here nor there. Anyway, thanks for the hydration. Dickhead. A woman goes on to claim she's never been more embarrassed in her life for the human race. Oh, thanks for the posture check. You can see my massive shoulders, mate. Look at that. Oh, us. That is nothing, Raw. That is absolutely nothing. In fact, I should just stick with the bit of not acknowledging the nothing. Congratulations, you wasted your points. I hope you're happy. Says she is a Jewish woman from New Jersey who also lives in Oakland. Jizoon, welcome to the Rogue Room. She then continues her profanity-filled tirade, even though, as her male companion points out, there are still children present in the area, as we all just saw. The video has also been shared on other social media channels. Daryl Lamont Jenkins, executive director of One People's Project, uploaded the video to Twitter, where it has been viewed over 126,000 times. Jenkins wrote the white women at this Sacramento hotel pool were pissed that a queer black woman was kissing her GF in public because there were children present. They were shamed out. Fuck yes. Comedian Kathy Griffin, I don't fucking care. I really could not give less of a fuck what Kathy Griffin has to say. Nikki Carlson, general manager at the Sawyer, said in a statement to the local news channel KTXL that the hotel does not condone discrimination or verbal assault of any kind. Carlson added an unfortunate disagreement between guests occurred at our pool over the holiday weekend, and the matter has since been resolved by shaming them bitches out of the pool. There you have it. By human race, she means the whites. Oh, she totally does. She totally does. Okay? Disagreement, I know. What the fucking shit, dude? What is wrong with people? Bring back shaming. Bring back shaming of these kinds of women specifically. I'm going to take my beanie off. It's cute, but I'm going to take it off. And look at how tight it is. Maybe I should leave it on. Did Kathy do something screwed? She's just cringe. I just don't like her, generally speaking, so I prefer to just not acknowledge her existence. And there we go. I'm back to looking like white Justin Wang now with my hair to one side. Anyway. What were we saying? I forget what we were saying. So we're kind of done with the Karens. That is a misogynist term, though. Let's be honest with ourselves. As much as it applies, it is a very... I mean, it's a misogynist term towards a specific group of women. Those kinds of women. But it is still misogynistic. We do have to address that elephant in the room. Because, you know, people like, what's his name? Moist Critical have popularized it in a large way. I mean, it existed before him, of course, but he has certainly made that term a lot more popular among certain social circles. Why, is the elephant hungry? Well, yes. That top, though, do you like it? So lazy, can't move. It's on... I think it's supposed to be a marshmallow. I think Pusheen is supposed... Like, it looks like a pillow, obviously. But I think it's supposed to be a marshmallow, which makes it that much cuter. This is so cute and comfy. Oh my god. I made a good decision with this. Fuck yes, I did. Kind of women throw other women under the bus, so fuck them. Well, I mean, you could argue that it's used for men, but the term Karen originates from women, obviously. It's a woman's name, and it's geared towards a specific subclass of women, if you could put it that way. But yeah, you've seen that term used to shut down women in general, regardless of what they were saying. Precisely. Ultimately, it has its roots in misogyny, and that's why it is a misogynistic term. That's why it's kind of not great to use in a lot of ways. That's why I tend to avoid it. But that kind of woman we just saw there in the video is generally the origin of the term, essentially. You know, privileged white woman who thinks she can do no wrong, who thinks she has the moral imperative in the situation. But still, yeah, whether you refer to men as that, or whether you refer to different types of women as that, whether you refer to anyone as that, it's still got the origin in that particular kind of thing. In a particular kind of woman, and thus the extrapolation of it leads to misogynistic usage. Good old okay boomer kind of works better, because even if they're not boomer gen, the mentality is stereotypically boomer. It is. So what were you talking about, Sammy? Good decoder ring up on... Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, drop that in my Discord and I'll give it a look. Did I see the pins you posted up in Discord? In my Discord or in someone else's? In your Discord? By the way, Maury, if you're still here, welcome to the Discord, for the record. In yours, okay. Where would I find it? Is it Paws of Pride? Is that what you're talking about? Is this the one? Let's have a look. Let's have a gander. The official Tumblr for Paws of Pride, shop for cute Pride products. Pride products. Let's have a look. What do they got? They got little June, Paws of Solidarity. Core Gay, Paws of Gay. Trance, Paws of Transgender. Ace, Paws of Pansexual. Curio, Paws of Questioning. Paws of Intersex. Orbit, BB, Paws of Bigender. Paws of Gay Male. The IBKC, Paws of Bisexual. Paws of Lesbian. My friend hates the lesbian flag colors, for the record. So do I. It's not great. You could make it work, but it's kind of eh. Pancakes. Oh, that's adorable. Ally Cats. Abby. Abrosexual. I don't know what that means. Danny. Demigirl. Onyx. Omnisexual. Demiboy. Aromantic. Dimitri. Demisexual. AJ. Paws of Agender. Polly, Amy, and Russ. Paws of Polyamorous. That's cute. Oh my god. Polly, Amy, and Russ. Polyamorous. That's cute. Flo, Paws of Gender Fluid. Neo, Paws of Non-Binary. Roly Poly, Paws of Polysexual. These are cute. These are adorable. Oh my goodness. Which flag though? The lipstick or the sunset? Hang on. What's the lipstick flag? Hool, hey you doing? Welcome to the Red Room. I'm sure I know that name from somewhere. Oh, there's a lipstick lesbian flag. Okay. I think she's referring to this one. Specifically. The Battle Axe one's cool, but no, like this one. How are you not following already? Maybe you were, and I think Twitch may have unfollowed you. I think there's a bit of a problem with Twitch's following system at the moment, where it just unfollows people for whatever reason. Like, I don't hate these colors, necessarily. I could put together an outfit that's the lesbian flag, probably. And it would look nice. But there's something about it that's just, like, iffy, you know? I feel like trans people really lucked out on the trans colors, whereas the lesbians kind of got orange. It's not bad. But yeah, aesthetically speaking, it's not great either. So, non-binary flag is great. Not the flag of New Brunswick. This one? Is that the one? Or have I got the wrong one? In a stream group a few years together, I knew the only one that I kept in touch with, followed because of the amazing content. Oh, thank you. Bi flag? Let's just look at different pride flags for the hell of it. Gonna take a break in a minute. Oh, yeah, right, bisexual. I'm an idiot. Yes, bi flag is the best flag. The bisexual lighting, it's the reason we're done up like this. Vexillological. Vexillological? What does that mean? The study of flags and flag design. That's cool. You learn something new every day. Vexillology is the study of history, symbolism, and usage of flags, or by extension, any interest in flags in general. The word is a synthesis of the Latin word vexillum and the Greek suffix logia. The first known use of the word vexillology was in 1959. You need a head off, Radio Scoville. Thank you so kindly for hanging out with us tonight. Hope you have an absolutely lovely one. Vexillology, flag science. Did this outfit today for Pride. Oh, cool. Very cool. Very cool. All the Aussie city flags are lame. I'll have to look those up, but I don't doubt it, honestly. Excusez-moi. Whereas vexillology is the study of interfering with villainous plans. Alright, that is 3 hours. So we're up for our second break now. We'll come back in just a few moments, folks. Don't go away. If you are not already subscribed to me here in the Rogue Room with Abigail Beck, we're 2 subs away from our daily sub goal. You could skip the ads that are coming, but it's just going to be this screen until I get back anyway. So I'm going to run ads now. I should have been running ads. But anyway. I haven't been running ad breaks. I'm sorry. But now I'm going to do one. Enjoy. Or sub. Whatever you want to do. Sup. Sorry, I forgot to turn my mic back on. What's going on, folks? I'm putting my hair up because it's in my way. Have I done that correctly? It's a little bit gross, but I wanted my hair up for a bit. Because ponytails are cute. Ponytails are cute, are they not? Anyways, we're back. Psychic Gamer, welcome to the Rogue Room. It was the perfect segue. Hello, dear moth. How you doing? So, ponytails are cute. I like them. I wear them to the gym sometimes. And, braids. I wear braids. I want to get better at braiding. I think I'm slowly developing a bit of a skill for it. It's very, very tricky, though. Kanto, sounds good. Sounds good. How are you? What was I going to say? I forgot. I came back and I had no idea what I was going to open with. So, you know. Excusez-moi. Need to learn to braid once you get your hair back? It seems like a good idea. Good little skill to have. I enjoy doing it. And then when I take my, excuse me. After I've had my hair braided for a little while and I take my hair out, then it's got a nice, you know, wavy look to it. It's really cool. I might do my braids after I finish stream, sleep in them, wear them for most of tomorrow, and then take it out before stream tomorrow and I'll have wavy hair. I could do that. Can you say a thing? You've seen a lot of girls wear scrunchies as a bracelet to put their hair up or whenever they need to. I think I got secondhand gender euphoria. It is very euphoric. It's nice. I do little subconscious girly things nowadays, which is good. I don't even think about it anymore. I'm just kind of like, yes, this feels good, this feels right, this is what I want. Zeta, how you doing? Hello. Wanting that Viking braid. I wanted to do one of those a while back, but I don't think I can. I've tried to like braid down here. I could try it, but it's very tricky. I haven't been able to just yet. And I also want to get really tiny hair ties to tie the ends of my braids with, and I want to buy some beads. There are beads that you can get. There are braid beads out there that you can get. Great seeing you much happier and more comfortable. It's good, isn't it? I like it. I like being me now. I was thinking about this today, actually. I had this moment where I was just like, there are so many people who are aware of me, who have known me since I started streaming, since I got into it, from the very beginning. I've made a lot of friends in the streaming community, and they've known my previous identity, and it's amazing how many of them have just switched without even a second thought as to who I used to be. It must be so strange to see someone you've developed an idea in your head about for so long just drastically and dramatically change who they are in such a way, I suppose. And you know, I think to a lot of people it's certainly going to be a confusing thing, but it's nice that so many people are so supportive, you know. Met you when you started streaming, seen through the journey, and look so damn happy and comfy. I'm comfy because of the hoodie. It's such a good hoodie. It's not the only thing. But yeah, I am more comfortable these days. It's great. It's fantastic. It's awesome to come to terms with yourself, you know. Basti has literally just started their journey in the last week. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear it. I'm going to do this up like this. So I can make my... I'm going to... You got used to it pretty fast? You did. You did. A lot of people did. There are only a few certain names I can think of people that used to hang out that I haven't seen for a while, but I'm not going to necessarily say they're transphobes, of course. They could have just, life happens and couldn't tune into streams anymore, which is totally fine. I get it. But also, since transitioning, by and large, my content has also had a dramatic shift. I'm trying to figure out, does this look good? Yeah, kind of. My neck to be warm. I've got a scarf over there. I could go get that, but whatever. What was I saying? Let me think. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I think since my content has shifted from gaming, which I was all over the place when it came to games, to just chatting, the format has dramatically jumped from... I used to do, heavy Minecraft and Dark Souls related stuff. And I dare say most of the people who don't tune in these days are because I'm not doing that gaming content anymore. I do still do gaming content infrequently, but you know, by and large, I've moved away from it. And I don't intend to go back to full-on gaming at any point. It would be nice, like I mentioned before, if I could move to a format that's more like, what's it called? A format that's more like I start out with news and politics and topical discussions and educational stuff, and then do gaming in the latter half of the streams would be a neat idea, I think. But I also don't want to risk doing that just yet. I feel like my primary strength with my streams is this kind of content. Yeah, Hassan does that, yeah. And I think other big streamers like Vorsh and all that do the same kind of things. Like, they'll do their major draw would be their political content, and then they would shift over to gaming after the fact. But of course, they're streaming like really long days and stuff like that. And I'd also like to be able to get on top of doing more video edits if I can, more discussion content. I think we've touched on a few things tonight where we could turn them into YouTube videos, but the tricky thing about doing YouTube videos based off streams is you need to really format the content in such a way that it fits into a video. I don't know. I don't know what people want when it comes to YouTube videos, but I want to use that as an avenue to bring in more eyes if I can. Just thinking about that about Philosophy Tube the other day. You're new to her, but it was you were thinking it must have felt wild to watch her first videos as Abigail for people who've watched her for a long time. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, I think there's probably some people who've stopped by, or some people who've probably unfollowed me because they don't know who Abigail Beck is, or what have you. Then, you know, because I've changed my name, I've drastically shifted who I am as a personality to the point where I've had several name changes since my prior identity. So a lot of people aren't even going to know who I am. Some people might be following me and not be familiar with who I am. You still love my content? Thank you. And yes, Kitty he's been around. He's been doing stuff. Wait. She's a long way for her to go, but she's got so much support from the few people she's told so far. Oh, that's good. Trico Kitten, welcome to the Red Room. Don't necessarily think you need to do that, but you'd be lying if you said you wouldn't mind more levity. Well, we're sort of chilling at the moment, not talking about the heavy stuff right now. How are you, Kitten? I hope you're well. We're sort of just vibing. Let me have a look here. What have I got in terms of news? None of it's light, none of it's chill, for the record. Okay, I thought this would be a good idea, but now I'm getting cold because my ears are getting cold. Yeah, I used to be Rogue BX, which was from Rogue Bitch, which was BXTCH. Somebody, I dare say a group of super straights, reported the name because I pissed them off around that time. So the name got me suspended. Then Twitch gave my account back under the name Rogue BX, and then I had to wait 60 days, and I changed it to this. And I had honestly decided on Abigail Beck pretty much as soon as I had gotten my account back. I'd been sitting on this identity for a while, which is just me, you know. So, you know, I'd been waiting for a long time to shift it over, and then finally I got the thing. I got the, what's it called? The name change availability. Oh yeah. If you folks are at all interested in a pride ring very similar to mine, it's stainless steel with epoxy resin pride flag colors. Check out Outer Piece Gear on Etsy. I'm gonna keep plugging them. I mean, hell, if you do buy something from their Etsy store, drop my name in there. Let them know that I did it for you. News is light like 2% of the time. Yeah, most of the time when the news is light, it's talking about like a dog saved a baby from drowning in a pool. Did I look at the Whispers? The anti-mask video is really good. No, I did not. Sorry. I haven't been looking at my Whispers. We're going to hop off. Rightio, Festa. Have a good one. Enjoy your time playing Mass Effect 3. So what's this one? Video on anti-maskers. Oh god, that's 48 minutes. And it won't pause. Sounds like porn music. Why wouldn't it pause? I was clicking on the video. I was clicking on the pause button. It wasn't pausing. What the hell is going on, YouTube? Jesus. But yeah, it's a 48-minute video. Maybe chuck that one in the Discord. I'm not going to watch a 48-minute video on stream, honestly. Good thing about being a gaming news podcast, unless David Cage is doing something. Well, I mean, I suppose the problem with doing gaming news is it's still rife with a whole bunch of gross shit, honestly. Would love to see a dog save a baby from drowning. It sounds pretty good. It does sound pretty good. to be fair. All right, let's do some news though. Let's discuss some news that's maybe not queer related. How about that? How's about this? I'm just looking through my stories that I've got here. I've got so many stories. I always queue up way too many. This is one I wanted to touch on because as someone who was super into the atheist movement a few years ago, this is big, this is long. This might be an entire chore. We might have to skim through this one. Because this is basically a novel. It's ridiculous. But on Salon.com, who knows Richard Dawkins? Who's aware of Richard Dawkins? He's a bit of a wanker. But Godless Grifters, this new article by Phil Torres on Salon. How the new atheists merged with the far right. What once seemed like a bracing intellectual movement has degenerated into a pack of abusive, small-minded bigots. Including this guy, and I'm not sure who he is, but... Oh, Steven Pinker, okay. I had not heard of him. But anyway. It was inspiring. Really inspiring. I remember watching clip after clip of Sam Harris, Richard Dawkins, and Christopher Hitchens debating Christians, Muslims, and purveyors of woo, exposing the fatuity of their faith-based beliefs and superstitious nonsense, unsupported by empirical evidence, often delivered to self-proclaimed prophets by supernatural beings via the epistemically suspicious channel of private revelation. Not that Harris, Dawkins, and Hitchens were saying anything particularly novel. The inconsistencies and contradictions of religious dogma are apparent even to small children. Why did God have to sacrifice his Son for our sins? Does Satan have free will? How can the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit be completely separate entities but also one and the same? The new atheist movement, which emerged from the best-selling books of the aforementioned authors, was the intellectual community that many of us 15 or so years ago were desperately looking for, especially after the 9/11 terrorist attacks, which seemed to confirm Samuel P. Huntington's infamous Clash of Civilizations thesis. As Harris once put it, with many of us naively agreeing we are at war with Islam, note this was a dangerous and xenophobic lie that helped to get Donald Trump elected, as Harris said in 2006, anticipating how his brand of Islamophobia would enable Trump's rise. The people who speak most sensibly about the threat that Islam poses to Europe are actually fascists. New atheism appeared to offer moral clarity. It emphasized intellectual honesty and embraced scientific truths about the nature and workings of reality. It gave me immense hope to know that in a world overflowing with irrationality, there were clear-thinking individuals with sizable public platforms willing to stand up for what's right and true, to stand up for sanity in the face of stupidity. Fast forward to the present, what a grift that was! Many of the most prominent new atheists turn out to be nothing more than self-aggrandizing, dogmatic, irascible, censorious, morally compromised people who, at every opportunity, have propped up the powerful over the powerless, the privileged over the marginalized. This may sound hyperbolic, but it's not when, well, you look at the evidence. So I thought it might be illuminating to take a look at where some of the heavy hitters in the atheist and skeptic communities are today. What do their legacies look like? In what direction have they taken their cultural quest to secularize the world? Let's see if you can spot a pattern. Alright, here we go. Let's have a look at this. Richard Derelict in the Grain. PZ Myers has been blogging about the decline of the atheist movement for years. Maybe I should look deeper into this. As a militant atheist, fuck the new atheist. I still define myself as an atheist. And also, I got to go through Natalie Wynn's transcripts because it sounds like there's a lot of good content there that's just no longer available because she doesn't want it available for obvious reasons. Purveyors of woo, like confidence men, basically. Disappointing to see atheists go to the right. Some get so arrogant after they gain a disbelief in God. Yeah. Fascists of a feather flock together. There was a pretty funny interaction on Twitch between Destiny and the Serfs, which was really funny as Lance clutched at straws saying Google are anti-LGBTQ, but not actually properly reading the report, and that the name badge issue was Group 4 Security, not Google, and it was one person. Oh, I see. And so does it. Oh, yeah, hang on. Used to be that in middle school. Yeah, I used to be really heavily into the... it had reached a point with me with atheism a few years ago. I can't remember exactly how many years ago. Honestly, probably back when I was with my relationship with my first partner, where I had developed such an attachment to atheism that I was regularly, ironically, religiously visiting the atheism subreddit, which turned into a festering cesspool really quickly. But it was just a part of my day to look at those posts over and over again, to go through that subreddit every single day. It was so bizarre looking back on it, how entrenched I was in looking at that stuff. And again, I've mentioned on numerous occasions, like, I was one of those people that could have slipped into alt-right ideology if I had not changed trajectory. If I could speak, it'd be nice. Sam Harris, arguably the progenitor of New Atheism, Harris was, for me, one of the more entertaining atheists. More recently, though, he has expended a prodigious amount of time and energy vigorously defending the scientific racism of Charles Murray. He believes that IQ is a good measure of intelligence. He argued to Josh Zepps during a podcast interview not only that black people are less intelligent than white people, but that this is because of genetic evolution. He has consistently given white nationalists a pass while arguing that Black Lives Matter is overly contentious, and has stubbornly advocated profiling Muslims or anyone who looks like he or she could conceivably be Muslim at airports. When Harris believes he's right about something, it becomes virtually impossible to talk him out of it, no matter how many good arguments, expert opinions, or hard data are presented to him. Yeah, this is... Holy fuck, Harris. This is a yikes. Like Donald Trump, he's pretty much unteachable. Harris has also partly blamed the election loss of Hillary Clinton on safe spaces, trigger warnings, and new gender pronouns. Released a private email exchange with Ezra Klein without Klein's permission, and once suggested that New Atheism is male-dominated because it lacks an extra estrogen vibe. What does that mean? Anyways, New Atheism is just bigotry. It's like taking one step forward toward progress by being an atheist and taking two steps back by being an unhinged bigot towards religious minorities, queer and BIPOC people. You can see that reflected on anti-theist politics like Sam Harris and others. Overly contentious, I know. His primary focus these days is boosting the moral panic over social justice warriors, political correctness, and wokeism, which he apparently believes pose a dire threat to Western civilization, a word that has a lot of meaning for white nationalists. Surprise, surprise, ding ding, any alarm bells going off, folks. Consequently, Harris has become popular among right-wingers, and the sentiment of solidarity appears to be mutual. For example, he's described Ben Shapiro as being committed to the... rules of intellectual honesty and to the same principles of charity with regards to other people's positions. Can anyone unequivocally state that Ben Shapiro has any level of intellectual anything? Ben Shapiro is a dumb fucking person who can talk fast. Anyway, which is odd given that Shapiro is a pathological liar who routinely misconstrues his opponents in service of a racist, misogynistic, climate-denying agenda. Yeah, Western civilization equals white people. I think, though, atheism was reaction to religiosity, considering the highly religious Bush administration and the Islamic violence, such as the attacks in the UK and France, especially the last 3 years, religious control is really reduced. Still is. It reminds me of Thunderfoot, a YouTuber who made videos against religion, anti-science quacks, but also feminists and progressives. Making no distinctions between these subjects is surprisingly effective propaganda. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's an easy way, like, if you pander to a certain group of people who have a certain umbrage with, like, the way this works, again, I hate to keep bringing up this bearded fuckwit, but Isaac Butterfield specifically targets, SJWs, in particular, like, vegans and other feminists and all these kinds of groups. And by creating content that focuses on a few specific social groups, you might not have an issue with this group over here. But if a content creator that you genuinely enjoy, who talks about these few things, starts making content about this group, you're very likely to sway your opinion on this group over here that you previously didn't have a problem with. You're very likely to start convincing yourself, hey, this group of people is bad because this person whose content I trust started talking about them. So clearly they must be right. It's a very interesting, psychologically persuasive thing that a lot of content creators tend to do. They'll find a group to target and they will routinely target that group, and then they'll move on to another one once the content dries up. And their audience will follow along like little... What's that thing called that where they herd the fur, like the fluffy woolly animals? I'm trying not to say it because I sound like a conspiratorial dipshit. Well, Lemmings works. And by the way, Brewster, how you doing? First time you heard Shapiro talk, you genuinely thought somebody had the 2.5 times speed turned on? Alpacas. Anyway. Where were we? Oh yeah, climate denying agenda. We talked about that. Michael Shermer, the founding publisher of Skeptic magazine, which once published a favorable review of Milo Yiannopoulos' book Dangerous and a defense of child rapist Jerry Sandusky, Shermer made a name for himself as a skeptic. However, his legacy has been overshadowed by, among other things, a protracted history of sexual harassment and assault allegations, with James Randi once calling him a bad boy, whom numerous people at atheism conferences had complained about. Excuse me. In 2014, he was accused of rape, which he later flippantly joked about on Twitter. Gee, that's a good lord. Since then, he has dedicated an impressive amount of time belittling SJWs and the woke, often hurling ad hominem attacks and middle school insults towards those with whom he disagrees. For example, Shermer has referred to SJWs as mealy-mouthed, whiny, sniveling, and obsequious, and a bunch of weak-kneed namby-pamby bedwetters. He once tweeted in Trumpian fashion, "Know this, regressive lefters / SJWs, you will lose. Those of us who believe in truth and justice will prevail. Yours is a failed ideology. Losers." What's namby-pamby? I know, right? After I wrote a critique of Steven Pinker's recent book Enlightenment Now, which contains many serious errors, Shermer took to Twitter to call me a cockroach. None of this should be that surprising since he describes himself as an anti-woke, anti-reparations libertarian who thinks Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged is a remarkable book. But be careful, Shermer has also acknowledged in writing that he's fantasized about murdering people. Or if not actually killing the particular bastard, he reports, at the very least I imagine dislocating his jaw with a crushing roundhouse knuckle sandwich that sent him reeling into the pavement. Or to the pavement, whatever. This comes from his book The Moral Arc, which receives an extended glowing blurb from Steven Pinker. Namby fucking Bambi. The origin of the whole lemmings throwing themselves off cliffs came from BBC crews chucking them off the side of said cliffs. Wait, what? What do you mean, what? Sheep, the only animal I'm fully comfortable calling colonizers. Here's the church and here's the steeple, open it up and here are the Christian brainwashed alpacas. Truth and justice. What was the second word in social justice again? It probably wasn't very important. I know. Who's Michael Shermer? Oh, well, he must not be important because I don't know who the fuck he is. Here we go. Lawrence Krauss, a world-renowned cosmologist who authored A Universe from Nothing and ran the Origins Project formerly at Arizona State University. Krauss was among the most academically accomplished of the New Atheists. In 2018, though he was dismissed from his job as director of the Origins Project after an investigation found he had violated, they're all sexual assailants, harassment policy of the university by groping a woman's breast while on an ASU-funded trip in late 2016. He has also repeatedly and vigorously defended his one-time friend Jeffrey Epstein, the child sex trafficker who donated $250,000 to the Origins Project over a 7-year span. That's not that much in the grand scheme of things. According to a 2011 Daily Beast article, Krauss claimed, "I don't feel tarnished in any way by my relationship with Jeffrey. I feel raised by it," adding that he didn't believe the beautiful women and young women surrounding Epstein were underage. Plenty of other people have said it was impossible not to realize that, and Krauss himself has acknowledged that Epstein favored women from ages 19 to 23, which surely should have been a red flag, you think? After a 2018 BuzzFeed article detailing some of the sexual harassment allegations against Krauss was published, a flood of further accusations emerged online, some of which I catalogued here. Richard Dawkins, everybody's favorite. Once a heavyweight within the world of evolutionary biology, Dawkins energized atheists the world over with his book The God Delusion, which I really wanted to read at some point in time, but nowadays I absolutely do not want to touch the fucking thing. Over time, though, it became increasingly clear that he's neither an adult in the room nor a particularly nice guy. For some bizarre reason, he obsessively targeted a Muslim teenager in Texas who was arrested after a homemade clock he brought to school was wrongly thought to be a bomb. I remember this situation. He also flipped out over what came to be called Elevator Gate, which began with Rebecca Watson calmly asking men to be thoughtful and considerate about how they make women feel at conferences, for example in the enclosed space of an elevator. This resulted in a flood of rape and death threats directed towards Watson, while Dawkins mocked the situation by writing a shocking letter addressed Dear Muslima, what the fuck, in which the first line was, "Stop whining, will you?" More recently, he's made it clear he isn't bothered by the allegations against Krauss and posted seemingly anti-trans comments on Twitter. Yeah, there's a reason I don't like him anymore. When asked why Twitter has caused him so much trouble, he claimed, "I love truth too much." Oh, fuck off. For Dawkins' troubling views on aborting fetuses with Down syndrome. Eugenicist. Good night, Fox. Have a good one. See this. We'll click on that. Date rape is bad. Stranger rape at night point is worse. If you think that's an endorsement of date rape, go away and learn how to think. What? Never heard the God delusion, but you can take a guess at the thesis. God is a delusion because he's not real. Yeah, not real. And just repeating that for hundreds of pages, probably. I demand the right to get drunk as fuck and still not be violated. Well, yeah, duh. Of course that's your right, but don't expect a jury to take your word against his if you can't. Oh my God! Jesus Christ, dude. Fucking hell. Mate. Oh, God. The fuck, mate? Yeah, exactly. What was it? I have a close friend that's so close to being leftist and agrees with me on most things, but his passion for atheism makes him overlook all these problems and will listen to Sam Harris and these other guys, slowly trying to show him the way. Well, hopefully he can. He's a good person at heart. He's really passionate about being an ally and an anti-capitalist. He's just stuck on this issue. That is completely fucked. Dawkins deserves to drownkins. This is messed up, dude. Holy shit. There's many more of these. There's a whole thing here. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. Hello, Smudge. How are you doing? To think he was married to a Doctor Who companion. Should we keep reading? Or should we move on to something else? What do you think? This is... Jesus. This is fucking ridiculous, dude. I'm looking at a picture, just like a bunch of white men in suits in a room, and I'm so pissed off. A bunch of old white men in suits in a room. And I'm just pissed off looking at this picture. God. Anyway, okay. Let's keep going. Okay, we can move on. We can get past this. If you want to read it, it's on Salon.com. There you go. There's the thing. Not the... Dude, what the fuck? I copied the link. There we go. There you have it, if you want to read the rest of it. If you want to piss yourself off some more, go ahead. Be my guest. Jesus Christ. There was a video I wanted to watch on stream, and I can't remember what it was. If anybody has any idea, let me know. That was the video I wanted to react to. How about this? Oh, you know what? Since I can't think of the one I want to watch, how about we bring up Toy Cat? Here we go, this one. How about we watch this? I mentioned this before. Okay, this is a 10-minute video. This will do us for a bit. Extremist ideologies explained through Minecraft villages.
Hello, I'm FGX Toycat, and one of the common problems of the modern world is that people want to be political extremists.
Hang on. Now we need the volume booster. Dude, I wasn't done with that. Stop taking my extension away when I'm still using it.
But they can't work out which faction to be political extremists for. I mean, it's such a common problem when you want to be extreme, but you don't know which extreme is the best extreme, which...
Let's just continue to do a whole bunch of political ideology through Minecraft, shall we? We've already done the colonialism thing, you know.
Which is why I'm making today's video, because as you all do know, the first thing people turn to when they want political advice is of course Minecraft videos. So today we're explaining political extremism through this Minecraft village and the various changes it undergoes. So, in the Libertarian village, most of the villagers are incredibly wealthy from trading. However, there are no iron golems, so the village gets raided and everyone dies. In the fascist village, the village itself looks really bad. The villagers themselves are doing really bad, but at least they all know they're not one of those other types of villagers. In the primitivist village, everyone destroys their houses. And of course the walls that separate
This guy's a lib centrist, you think?
them. And instead, all of the villagers live off the land and of course eat rabbits, which arguably makes them happier. Under monarchism, all of the villagers farm and work for the monarch's benefit, and in exchange, some of that wealth is very generously given back to the village. But I mean, it could be worse, right? Under communism, everybody farms. However, all food belongs to the state. However, the state decides that everyone starves to death. In the French village, all of the villagers are permanently on strike. And also, no one can understand what they're saying. By the way, I know a lot of people are going to say, this isn't the actual French flag. I know this is a common misconception, because the most common flag flown on the French battlefield looks something like this.
That's a good job.
So this village is exactly the same as all of the other villages, except a few of its houses...
And yeah, like, as he's using an example of communism that failed. He's using a failed example of communism in that example earlier, so...
are a bit further away than normal, with as much as a quarter of the world being covered in houses which are from this exact same village. And let's just say the houses weren't exactly built by that original village. In this village, there's a lot more emphasis on the church, and so instead of farming, we pray to the deity that all of the crops will grow, but they don't, so we all starve and start dying. So this village is a really great idea that has absolutely never been tried in real life before. All we have to do is build really nice roads for everyone to enjoy, and then kill all of the villagers with big noses. Although, come to think of it, that's probably not such a great idea given the population of the village. Also, just in case you do see some historic precedent here, the roads actually weren't instigated by a certain leader that might have had tendencies towards both nationalism and socialism, and basically because of that, you got to bear in mind that it was actually kind of a Weimar project that was headed up by a certain man with certain mustached qualities.
Oof. Oof to what? To which specific part? You got to enlighten me here. In communism, the state owns the food. Sure, the stateless, classless society has an authoritarian state. Yeah. So for anyone who missed that, getting strong douche vibes somewhere. Wish people would stop trying to Really wish people would stop tying libertarianism to anarcho-capitalism, I assume you mean. The massively different one is a political position with the least amount of government tampering. The other is no government at all, and anything can be bought. This is the problem with, like, I watched this earlier, and I found it was funny. Oh, yeah, the villagers with big noses. Yeah, dude, there are so many correlations between the villagers in Minecraft and Jewish people. Like, there's so much. It's hard to deny the borderline anti-Semitism of their design. But anyway, this does strike me as what I watched this video before, and I haven't looked up all of these different political ideologies. He's called them extremist ideologies, which is not really technically accurate. But yeah, like from what I do know of some of the ones that he has mentioned, is he's definitely just looked up a historical precedent for each of these, wherein the state has defined itself a certain way, but then enacted policies that are completely contrary to those. You know, so the theory does not match the praxis, sort of thing.
Under Juche socialism, we cut ourselves off from the outside world, and then we get to pretend that we're doing the best. Although in reality, building a wall so big is probably a bit too expensive, and probably takes away from the well-being of our people. But if you never see any of the people, then we can lie and we can just say they're doing just great inside those houses they definitely live in over there. No slums here, that's for sure. Just a beautiful, glorious state under our supreme leader. In the globalist village, there is no war anymore.
Nationalism and socialism. Socialism was popular at the time and they were trying to gain brownie points by putting it in their name. Precisely, yeah.
But instead, all of our villagers are leather workers and they export all of their leather armor to other villages. This might sound like a criticism, but leather armor is really cheap now, so we've got that going for us. It's also really cheap to make the banners that describe exactly where we're at, which is why we've got the one true flag in bulk quantity today. This is a couple of flags I could get used to seeing side by side. Wouldn't it be wacky if instead of farming all of the crops, we just farm potatoes? The corporatist village is very wealthy and most of the villagers own their own homes, but they do so by working in a giant office every single day, 9 to 5. They feel locked inside. They feel like their life has no meaning. They feel like they are trapped in this office for every single hour of every single day. But deep inside them, they realize even though they have all of the physical possessions they could ever want, their life has next to no meaning. Trying to fill the void of their leftover time with something that just makes them feel less alone. But they are always alone. They are always alone, or they are always working, and they feel as though just this one more YouTube video, that'll be the thing that fixes it, but it never really is. On the other hand though, being rich is pretty swell because, I mean, who doesn't want enchanted golden apples? So we live in the mountains, but we have a lot of gold, and no one's really sure where it all came from in the end. What's the point in explaining this one? We're all doomed anyway, so why even try? So we don't really have any policies or any progress or anything that actually keeps us going forwards. So instead, we'll base everything on the color of
Talon, hello.
Friends.
Thank you for the raid. How are you doing, friend? How was the stream? What were you getting up to? Nihilist Village is based. There we go. We got raidy colors. How was your stream? Tell us all about it. What'd you get up to? Ah, my thing won't work. There we go. Oh my goodness. Car Mechanic Simulator. That sounds pretty cool. I think I've seen people playing that before. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. Nice chill stream. That's what we like to hear. Oh goodness. What was I going to do? Yeah, we're watching a video about extremist ideologies explained through Minecraft villages, but it's using historical precedents that associate certain ideological theory with incorrect, like we mentioned before, historical praxis. So, you know, theory doesn't match how it's been describing an ethnographic state with big-nosed villages. To be fair, they don't really have much choice. There's only one type of villager in this game.
Off, you know, our skin, as you can see. This villager's skin is yellow because he's from a jungle.
It's not really
So we're
yellow.
going to deport all the villagers that don't look like the superior villagers because we're clearly the best based on that color. That's right, we just politely ask people to leave and then they all mysteriously do. So we finally work out a system that manages to separate the church and the state, that manages to give everybody a voice, and that manages to avoid violence for the vast majority of villagers, and that all that involves is an election. However, nobody votes in the election, and then everybody complains that politicians suck. Like this guy, what's he even doing? And all politicians suck, that's what I say. So there are no longer any elections. Instead, we put a librarian village in charge because he looks the smartest and probably knows the most and can probably work out public policy decisions based on his expertise that he's gained in the library that he spent some time in. Yep, this definitely seems like a better version of democracy to me. So everybody likes emeralds, right? Why don't we duplicate until everybody has billions of emeralds? What if everyone had all the emeralds all of the time? Well, our currency's worthless because everyone has billions of it, and this is all the British's fault, is what I've taken away from this. There's no food left in the village, so we find the oldest villager, and we're gonna kill him and eat his flesh. It's just the logical course of action. For the greater good. Oh, now cannibalism's too good for the smart library villager. Maybe he should be eaten next. So there you go. I hope this video helped to radicalize you, helped to get you on board with some of those extreme ideas. Maybe you want to be extreme one.
Okay, so obviously it's a piss take, I think. I would hope, you know. And the video keeps going for another few minutes. Oh, he's talking about the world seed and stuff like that. It's a bunch of nonsense. Yeah, I'm hoping, you know, fingers crossed he's not serious about some of these. Let's fix our lighting up. You know, that's a fun little thing. I much prefer the Minecraft colonialism video to that one, honestly. But it's a neat concept to explore different ideas through Minecraft, honestly. Anyways. Minecraft may be racist, but it feels like this dude's take is too. It may well be. But yeah, it's not it doesn't feel like a coincidence that the villages are designed that way, especially given, as far as I'm aware, Notch had some pretty ethno-status takes, if I'm not mistaken. He's definitely said a few things where it's just like, dude, you can't, you don't, no. But, I I can't recall. I haven't really seen anything that Notch has said in recent times. And he's not associated with the game anymore, thankfully. He cashed out years and years ago. And as a result, Microsoft is just effectively, owns the property or whatever. He has no stake in it. But yeah, it definitely strikes me that he's certainly a douche. Which, yeah, is a shame that he's brought something so great into the world and turns out to be an absolute cunt. Can people just not be cunts? Is that a thing they can do? Notch is a botch of a human being. Nice. Nicely done. Nicely done. Oh, goodness me. I have a story that's tangentially relevant, I suppose. But I am not sure. I don't know. I'm just looking through what I've got left over here. I really need to... Today has been a slow news day, honestly. We all need to follow Bill and Ted's words and be excellent to each other. That'll never happen, sadly. I wish. It'd be nice to see a society that actually values, everyone equally and gives them all the same opportunities and doesn't mistreat certain social groups because of perceived differences, I suppose would be a good way to put it, in a sense. Not just sitting on a mountain of money and has no incentive to be a better person. Correct. Yeah, he has no reason to change. So that's kind of the problem with rich people, right? Is a lot of them are already bought into excess wealth, and they have no reason to better themselves, for the most part, because they've already made it. They've already won. And of course, I'm not by any stretch saying that Notch was born into that wealth. But once you're in that wealth, there's no reason for you to change. You've effectively made it. Your existence has been validated, right? And thus your viewpoints have been validated. So there's no incentive for you to change. One of the largest problems of capitalism in general. There are far too many people out there who are far too invested in themselves and not invested in the idea of others. Which sucks. It does. This is an ad. Damn it. That's a fucking ad. I'm a little bit, what is this thing? I'm a little bit tired, so, though we've got another 15 minutes before the end of stream, I'm going to call it a little bit early tonight. I'm going to rate Emmy. Because I'm just stuffed. I'm totally stuffed. We should be live tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, tomorrow night. And depending on upcoming events, depending on my upcoming schedule, because I'm going back to uni next semester, which should be after this week, I think. I've got to find out what my schedule looks like. I'm going to try to increase my stream lengths to maybe 6 hours a night on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. We'll see how we go. Maybe, 5 or 6 hour streams, starting from like 6 p.m. my time. And maybe we could, start out with that typical discussion kind of content and then shift over to gaming of some sort. Because I do want to play some other stuff. I wouldn't mind going back to Bloodborne. And I mentioned Minecraft earlier. We could, I brought up a Minecraft video. I feel interested in doing that. Anyway, that didn't work. If you are not already in my Discord, following my Twitter, subscribe to my YouTube, following my Instagram, or following my Facebook page, you can go do all of those right now, or I will belt you. I swear. I'll smack you. Don't tell me you'll like it, you kinky freaks. Have a good night, be kind to yourselves and each other, and I'll see you when I'm looking at you. Where's my ending button? There it is. Good night, everybody. I love you.